How y'all are? I'm glad for you to see me. We're cooking up a spicy little dish tonight. You're just gonna love it, I guarantee you. Looks like it's ready. Are you ready for some football? Oh, boy.
Remember this historic moment. Art Monk became the leading receiver in NFL history on a Monday night football game. It was 2 years ago when, as a Washington Redskin, he caught this pass, the 820th of his career. A historic moment indeed, and we have seen others on Monday Night Football in recent years. Jerry Rice of the San Francisco 49ers entered the record book in thrilling fashion on our season opener this year. This TD catch was the 127th touchdown of his spectacular career, breaking the 29-year-old record held by Jim Brown. And tonight, we may be treated to yet another NFL milestone. Emmitt Smith of the Dallas Cowboys needs 3 touchdowns to tie the NFL record for most touchdowns in a season. Smith now has 21 and is chasing the standard set by John Riggins of the Redskins in 1983. But the bigger picture for Emmitt and the Cowboys is their current championship quest. They have won 2 consecutive Super Bowls, and to win this trophy again this year would be a far more meaningful accomplishment for Emmitt Smith.
It'd probably be the best feeling every player on this team could ever have, because not only will we be playing for our 3rd consecutive Super Bowl, but we'll be playing for a part in NFL history. And we'll be playing for something that no other team in the NFL has ever been able to do, and that's to win 3 straight Super Bowls.
The Dallas Cowboys face the New Orleans Saints tonight on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Shoot at the Saints tonight. So get ready. I mean, get ready. Are you ready for the football? For Monday Night Party? We got Frank and Al and Dan. They're gonna get it kick-started. Lynn and the crew's all set. The crowd is psyched, 'cause all my rowdy friends are back for Monday night.
The Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, one of the splendid attractions of the Crescent City, a city with a year-round holiday spirit, and it's bubbling over tonight. The Dome, home of the New Orleans Saints, also in a festive spirit tonight, is also sold out as the Dallas Cowboys have come to town. Hello again, everyone. Frank Gifford with Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf. Happy you're with us. An interesting game for you tonight. The Cowboys and these New Orleans Saints. The Saints come in tonight. They are 6-8, but would you believe they still have a mathematical shot of reaching the playoffs? That depends upon 5 games. The first one tonight, 4 next weekend. We'll talk about that a little later on. They feel they are up to it, however. They are playing the best football they have played all season. They have won 2 in a row for the first time this year. Won them both on the road against divisional opponents. They're going to give it a go tonight. Meanwhile, the Dallas Cowboys, a team you're well aware of, went through enormous change during the offseason, losing a lot of personnel, changing personnel. More importantly, they changed at the top. Out went Jimmy Johnson, in came Barry Switzer, and Al, nevertheless, they have won the division. They have the home field advantage, at least to the playoffs. They have that first week off. They've done everything they wanted to do.
Well, when the year began, remember that Jerry Jones went out on what I feel was the longest limb anyone in contemporary American sports has been out on ever, because Jimmy Johnson was a tremendously successful coach. Barry Switzer had never coached a minute in the National Football League. In fact, hadn't coached, period, in over 5 years. Doomsayers predicted disaster. It's been anything but a disaster. They've barely skipped a beat with a mark of 11-3. But 2 weeks ago, they had to go right down to the wire to beat Philadelphia. Then last week, they lost to Cleveland. Barry Switzer said, even though tonight's game doesn't mean anything, and neither does next week's game against the Giants in the Meadowlands, we have to get this bad taste out of our mouths. Then they'll have a week off before they play a playoff game at home on the 7th of January. Right now, the Dallas Cowboys are playing in cruise control. They have to start thinking about getting into overdrive. And they'll do that tonight against the New Orleans Saints. As Frank mentioned, Dan, it's the first time all season they've won 2 straight. Jim Mora feels they're playing better than they played in all of 1994.
Because they are rebuilding, Al. Jim Mora won't say it, but that's exactly what the Saints are doing. This was a ball club in 91 that was at 11-5. And then in 92, they went to 12-4. Then last year they slipped to 8-8, and they were $12 million over the salary cap. A lot had to be done. So what happened? A lot of the older, high-priced veterans had to go. The Saints found themselves a quarterback. They got Jim Everett, thrown for over 3,300 yards, completing almost 64% of his passes. All the offensive starters are signed. A little work yet to do on defense. The Saints took a test 3 weeks ago. They got bombed by the 49ers. Tonight, this test is against the Cowboys.
And the Saints will take the kickoff. Chris Boniol sends it down to Tyrone Hughes at the 7-yard line. And Hughes brings it back out to the 26. A 19-yard run back. And we'll take a look at the New Orleans Saints. Offensively, Jim Everett, after several seasons with the Rams, came over for a 7th-round draft choice. And he's had a fine season with 19 touchdown passes, 50 receptions. Behind him, Mario Bates, the rookie from Arizona State. Lorenzo Neal is the blocking back. Quinn Early and the ex-Falcon Michael Haynes, the wideouts. Irv Smith has done a nice job at tight end. Willie Roaf goes to the Pro Bowl. Dombrowski, Ulenake, Port, and Williams up front. Irv Smith moves to the right side, strong side right. Everett rolls that way and then overthrows Irv Smith, the tight end. It'll be 2nd and 10. Defensively now for the Cowboys, Tony Tolbert's having an excellent year. Russell Maryland and Leon Lett are the tackles. Charles Haley on the other side. The 3 linebackers, Dixon Edwards, Robert Jones, and Darren Smith. And in the secondary, Kevin Smith on the left side. Clayton Holmes starts for Larry Brown on the right side. Washington and Woodson are the safeties. 2nd down, 10 from the 26-yard line. Smith in motion. Mario Bates got tripped at the line of scrimmage, fell over the leg of Russell Maryland. It's a minimal gain. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
A couple of things we'll be watching for tonight will be the battle over on the left side of that offensive line for New Orleans, Dan, between William Roth against Charles Haley, who's having a great year, and Larry Brown's replacement, Clayton Holmes, how he'll hold up against the likes of Michael Haynes.
Well, there's a good look at Mario Bates, who just trips over his own man. The Saints have the 26th best running attack in the National Football League. They're good throwing the ball, but really haven't run the ball on anybody with success.
Everett from the gun on 3rd down and 8. And no play. The whistles had sounded before the play. Willie Williams, the left tackle, was one of the men moving.
Number 65, the offense. False start. 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
Dale Hamer making the call. He's the referee as you look at Jim Mora in his 9th season as the Saints head coach.
As Frank mentioned, we will be taking a look at William Roaf over on the left side. What a fine young prospect he is. And this is a guy, there's the man he's up against tonight, Charles Haley.
Teammates in the Pro Bowl.
Yes. Haley will be there with many of his Dallas friends. William Roaf will have to make some friends when he's over there.
Cowboys have 11 guys going to the Pro Bowl, and the Saints have 1. 3rd and 13. Everett throws underneath to Derek Brown, their 3rd down specialist. And Brown is out to the 37-yard line and should have a 1st down. He made it by a ½ yard, and James Washington is shaken up for the Cowboys, still on his knees.
Derek Brown was a starting running back for the Saints a year ago, and you saw him display that. Now he's a 3rd down specialist, as Al mentioned, comes out of the backfield. Here he works on a little tight screen to the inside, knows where he has to go for the 1st down, pulls ahead and gets it.
Good blocks out front by Chris Port, Jim Dombrowski, Jeff Ulenake, the center. Well executed screen, and boy, so critical for the Saints to get a 1st down on their 1st series rather just 3 and out.
And off a 3rd and 13 as well, as Mario Bates picks up a couple, takes it out to the 39-yard line, gain of 2. 2nd down and 8 on the game's opening drive.
You know, one of the things I think New Orleans has to do, and Jim Mora has got to be willing to risk it. He'd love to run the ball, but The Dallas Cowboys have two great safeties that support the run like nobody in this league, Washington and Darren Woodson. Now, you've got to get them conscious of deep coverage, helping their cornerbacks, instead of reading run and coming up and playing like linebackers. And New Orleans have got to put it up deep on the outside, and they should do it early.
I'd find out how Washington is now. He remained in the game after being shaken.
Everett throws a wobbler. It's caught by Michael Haynes up at the 46-yard line, a little short of the first down, but they give him a good spot. Now he's very close to it. In fact, they have it. Washington and Holmes make the tackle.
Holmes spun out of there. He was about 10 yards deep in his zone coverage. Watch Holmes, number 47, third-round draft pick a year ago out of Carson Newman, giving all kinds of room to Michael Haynes, respecting that speed. And Haynes perhaps pulling up a little early. I mean, they might have even spotted it for a first.
Very generous spot.
Oh, good look at Everett. If they go with their first pass, they go against the new man back there, Clayton Holmes.
It looked like Leon Lett got a finger on that ball. Looked like his right thumb just altered the course of that football ever so slightly. Haynes still able to make the catch, but the big cat, Leon Lett, got a hand on that ball definitively.
Oh, he does get his hand on a lot of balls.
Sure did.
Haynes making his 68th catch of the season. 1st and 10 up at the 47-yard line. This is Bates. He picks up 3. Mario Bates, when the season began and the play was whistled dead, was in contention for the #1 running back spot. Then he got into a spat in a local eatery with Lorenzo Neal. Neal punched him. Bates's jaw was broken, and he was out for a month and a half.
They missed 5 full games for the New Orleans Saints, and he is he's a talent. That's Lorenzo Neal right there, who's over on the Saints sideline, who's played a great deal this year at fullback.
Potential litigation involved maybe down the line.
Well, they were talking about it at least as of 3 weeks ago. 2nd down and 7. And the catch is made by Haynes. It picks up the first down before he is run out of bounds by Darren Woodson. So a good opening drive for the Saints as they have picked up 3 first downs.
Good blitz adjustment there, Frank.
There was, and Michael Haynes adjusting with it. Breaks off the pattern, breaks it off short. Good read between Jim Everett, who's having a superb year. He has the best numbers he's had in 9 years. He has a 63.4% percentage of completion, far and away the best he's ever had in 9 years.
8th play of the drive coming at the 41-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Everett straight dropping. Good protection, goes up terrible. Intercepted by Tony Tolbert. Everett is the only guy who has a chance to get him, and he gets blocked out of the play. Touchdown.
What a catch of that ball by Tony Tolbert.
What a fine throw, too, huh?
Then you can imagine there is
put the old clothespin over your nose for that throw.
Well, you're raving about Jim Everett. He absolutely hit Tolbert dead in stride, if you will, but still a good effort on the part of Tolbert.
Not the place you would expect to find a defensive end out in the flat, and that's exactly where Tony Tolbert goes. He comes upfield. He reads the screen right away, and what a brilliant play. They're trying to throw it out to Mario Bates, and Tolbert reads it, floats out with it, gets a lead block here from Darren Smith, and gets the touchdown. What a piece of improvisation by Tony Tolbert.
I wonder if it's improvised, Dan, or I mean, it looks so deliberate.
Well, he reads the back. He reads the back flaring out and went with it.
Boniol for the extra point. 54-yard interception return.
Only one combined.
Coordinator Carl Smith seated on the Saints bench and going over things with Jim Everett after a horrible pass after a very promising beginning to the drive.
What's that saying down there? Who dat gonna be them Saints?
Yeah.
Beat them Saints? I think Jim Everett went over there and said, who dat caught that ball?
Yeah. First interception of Tolbert's career and his first touchdown. And it's a bouncing kick by Boniol, taken at the 19-yard line by Derek Ned, the backup fullback. That brings it to the 33. And now another look at the interception and the touchdown. Meanwhile, we've got offside here against the Dallas Cowboys on the kickoff.
Jim Everett, he reads the linebacker before he comes back out in the flat. And for some reason, with the crowd in front of him, he didn't see Tolbert or whatever. It was a terrible pass that he threw, but he read the linebacker in the coverage trying to go downfield, came off it, tried to get it out to Bates, and Tolbert takes it in for 6.
And I give all the credit in the world to Tony Tolbert. He read screen. He thought he was going to be chop blocked by Willie Williams, the tackle. Rather than engage him, floats out to try to take the screen away and finds himself right in the middle of a touchdown play. That is a big-time play by Tony Tolbert, who's really trying to crack that upper echelon of defensive ends in the NFC to go to the Pro Bowl.
Beautiful aerial view of the Louisiana Superdome. The Cowboys were offside on the kickoff, and the penalty was declined. And now the Saints begin drive number 2 from the 33-yard line. And is moving on the right side. The play continues, and Everett's going for 6, and in double coverage, it's incomplete, intended for Michael Haynes.
Jim Jeffcoat coming on the far side of the Cowboys. Interesting that Tony Tolbert is the only member of that starting front 4 that's not going to the Pro Bowl.
And Tony Tolbert's going to be an unrestricted free agent.
5 yards, still first down.
Jim Jeffcoat. And what they're going to do is try to sign Tony. In fact, the Cowboys have an offer on the table right now for Tony Tolbert in the $6 million range for 4 years. They may go up to 7 after that last pick.
Yeah, they went up a little right there.
No, and that's why, too. It's his ability to make those plays. And, of course, Tony makes a legitimate argument that my stats would be a lot better, but I'm replaced by Jeffcoat on passing downs.
It is 1st and 5. For a loss in the backfield is Mario Bates. Charles Haley penetrates to get him. ABC's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It's just plain smart to fly Southwest, the low-fare airline. Cadillac and your Cadillac dealer, creating a higher standard. And Beechwood aged Budweiser. It's always been true. This Bud's for you.
Charles Haley is probably having the best year of his career. 11.5 sacks, 52 quarterback pressures, 6 sacks in the last 4 games. He's healthy. He's almost impossible to block. So quick. Really quick. Very quick.
He got confused by Irv Smith going in motion.
Officials conferred. Hammer will give us the call in a second.
Question is whether
they got something else going.
Well, are they going to? They might be trying to make a case that Irv Smith flinched when he went in motion, trying to draw him offside.
There's no foul on the play. 82 did not simulate the start of the snap. 82 did not simulate the start of the snap.
And Haley got back.
Well, of course he wasn't simulating the start of it. He's going in motion. Here he is. That's his rear end sticking the farthest out. There goes Smith in motion.
Haley gets back.
Now, the one thing Irv Smith did drop back and make it look a little bit like pass protection before he then turned his shoulders and went in motion. That's kind of a gray area there. I can see why Haley jumped.
That's kind of messy is what it was.
Yeah.
It is 2nd and 8 at the 36-yard line. Derek Brown is in the game, and he gets the ball, and he goes nowhere. Runs into Leon Lett, the first to pop him at the 36-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
See Big Leon shaking his head. No, not in here. Not where I pitched my tent. I don't think you ought to try to run in here.
Boy, he has really come on, hasn't he? He is the big man, the run stuffer, if you will. Number 78, 288 pounds. The rest of these defensive front 7 for the Cowboys are rather small. They don't have a linebacker that weighs 240.
Look at this.
They are quick.
Not in here. No. This is Leon's.
Thank you.
This is Leon's turf.
3rd down and 8. Torrance Small in motion. They'd like to go to Small, number 83, on 3rd down plays, but this time they go the other way to Quinn Early, and he makes the catch up at the 46, and that is enough for a 1st down, covered by Kevin Smith.
His 71st reception for Quinn Early, and who would have ever dreamed that Jim Moore team would have somebody that caught 70 on one side, 67 on the other. That's the kind of ball they've had to play this year. Good drive by Early. Makes Kevin Smith respect the deep move. It's enough for the 1st down, and Everett has it right on the numbers.
If you're just joining us, 8.5 minutes to go in the 1st quarter. The Cowboys have not had the ball yet offensively, but they lead 7-0 on a 54-yard interception run back by Tony Tolbert. And cracking making his way through the middle is Mario Bates across the 50 and down to the Dallas 47-yard line, tackled by Darren Smith.
And this is what New Orleans wants to do. They want to run the middle if they can, run over the left side where the strength of their offensive line is. Carl Smith making the calls from the sideline, but that's what they want to do. If they can get Dallas to respect the run, get the two safeties coming up to support it, they can go to work passing on the outside.
Second and a long 2, and this is Bates taking it just inside the 43, and that's going to be a first down.
The Saints will run right just enough to break their percentages, just enough to give the other team's computer something to think about. But when it's money time, they will run behind Willie Roaf, and they will run behind Jim Dombrowski over on the left side. It is where their strength is. Carl Smith knows it. And when they need some yards, 77 and 72 are the two guys that they are going to come behind for good reason. Excellent football players.
7:15 to go first quarter, 7-0 Cowboys. Everett on first down. The fake to Bates, and then the pocket collapses, and down he goes, and Russell Maryland will get the sack. 9-yard sack.
A lot of pulling, giving an odd look there by the New Orleans Saints, a scheme that doesn't really work very well against the Dallas Cowboys because of how quickly their defensive line penetrate. You can fake them by doing something. These guys keep going right upfield. Boy, look at Maryland just split inside, bounced off two guys, stayed on his feet. That's what that low center of gravity does for Russell Maryland.
Second and 19. Derek Brown is the running back in this set. Everett down the sideline, but too far. Intended for Quinn Early. James Washington covering on the play. It'll be third down and 19 from the New Orleans 49.
I think James Washington might have missed the receiver, but he got our audio guy. That's a good sound of I hope we don't have an injury on the sidelines down here. Let's take a look at Washington follow through.
Second and long is not good territory against the Dallas Cowboys. They are so quick at the line of scrimmage getting to the passer. They bring in that dime defense, and they're tough to beat.
Third and 19. The 4-man rush, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for the tight end Wesley Walls, who gets crunched by James Washington as the ball arrives.
That ball is perfectly thrown. The ball would have been caught except for one thing. James Washington, who hits like a linebacker, as I said earlier, he just flat knocked the ball out of there.
And there's a flag down.
Look at that hit. A shoulder hit. The ball ripped out of there.
Penalty will be against New Orleans, and Dallas will decline it.
Offense, number 85. Penalty decline. Fourth down.
You could see that Wesley Walls had possession of the football. He had it under control. But the rules of the game are both feet must touch the ground while you have that possession of the football. And the hit from Washington came and dislodged the ball before he got both feet down.
Well, we looked at it in slow motion.
Yeah, that
regular speed is something different.
That sends you right to the hot tub.
Tommy Barnhart has to jump up to bring the snap down, and floats one that bounces at the 9, and Karen in the air into the end zone, but Derek Ned goes down there in the air to bat it back, and it's blown dead at the 3.
Great play by Ned. Leaped into the end zone and batted it back.
Terrific play to pin Dallas deep, and 8:45 into the game, we'll see Aikman for the first time.
What fun to ride and sing in a one-horse open sleigh, dashing through the snow.
Fine play by Derek Ned to pin the Cowboys deep.
Try this in your backyard sometime. And he gets a hand and swats that ball back out there when his right foot was still about 2 or 3 inches off the ground.
And Troy Aikman on first down throws to the tight end Jay Novacek, and Dallas's first offensive play is an 18-yard pickup up to the 21-yard line. Let's take a look now at that Dallas offense. Troy Aikman in his 6th season, at the very top of his game until the recent injury, the sprained knee. Emmitt Smith having another banner year. The Moose is the fullback. Harper and Irvin, the great wideouts. Novacek, the tight end. And up front, Tuanay goes to the Pro Bowl for the first time. Newton, Stepnoski, Kennard, and Larry Allen replacing Eric Williams, who was hurt in that auto accident in October. Emmitt Smith burrows his way for a gain of 4 out to the 25-yard line. Here's the Saints defense. Martin, Warren, the longtime veteran, and Joe Johnson, the rookie out of Louisville. Darian Connor, the venerable 35-year-old Mills with the rookie Tubbs, the inside backers, Turnbull, the other outside linebacker. Spencer and Othello Henderson starting at the corners. Lumpkin and Buck are the safeties. Vinnie Clark will also see a lot of action. He is in there right now. Came over from Atlanta about a month ago. Second down and 6. Emmett banged down by the venerable Mills after a pickup of 2. 3rd and 4.
Who at 35 years old, Jim Moore will tell you, is having one of his banner years. He's had a lot of them. A Pro Bowler from years past. Watch on the right side. Number 51 bites off the block. And he's not all that big either. 229 pounds. Low center of gravity. Got fought off the big man for the tackle.
You just have to say over and over, 5'9", 5'9". How is it possible someone of that height to be playing linebacker in the NFL?
3rd down and 4 at the 27-yard line. Aikman over the middle. It's Emmitt Smith for a first down up to the 34-yard line. He's tackled by Ronaldo Turnbull with 4.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter, and Dallas up 7-0.
So many weapons against a team, the New Orleans team, defensively ranked after 14 games, 26th in the National Football League, and the secondary where one man remains from a year ago, Vince Buck, and he played cornerback a year ago. And you look up and you see the likes of Alvin Harper, Michael Irvin, Jay Novacek. Tough to do it.
Smith is their second leading receiver. That's his 46th grab. Irvin leads with 71. And you can make it 72 as Michael hauls in his first reception of the night. The Bud 1 airship providing the scenics. That's a live view of the Superdome in downtown New Orleans.
Michael Irvin came into this game needing 157 yards for the 4th consecutive 1,300-yard season.
That was a gain of 5 at a 2nd and 5 at the 40-yard line. They picked up the blitz. The pass is thrown to Novacek, and he has a first down, and that's 3 Dallas first downs now on a drive that commenced at the 3. Lumpkin makes the hit.
Well, you know you have a lot of confidence in your offense when you go to the air on first down from the 3-yard line and complete it out beyond your 20. Barry Switzer with so many weapons at his disposal, and Troy Aikman, who didn't play well last week, the first week back after missing a couple weeks with the bad knee. The single most important thing, I think, to come out of tonight's game for the Cowboys would be to see Troy Aikman regain his touch.
From the 47, Emmitt Smith tackled for a loss back at the 45-yard line. Joe Johnson is there, the rookie, the top pick out of Louisville.
You know, one of the offensive weapons that has almost disappeared in the past couple of games for the Dallas Cowboys is Alvin Harper, only a couple of receptions, and I would think we would see him early on, perhaps with one of his deep routes. Good defensive flow there. Wayne Martin, 93. Frank Bourne out there.
There is Harper. He's only caught 33 balls, a little bit more than 2 per game, but he's averaging 25 yards a catch.
Jimmy Spencer's only 5'9", trying to cover it.
Emmitt Smith threads his way up to the 48-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
Saints bring in their dime defense. Pick up double coverage on both Harper and Michael Irvin, and this is where Novacek is such a weapon from the tight end, who is like a wide receiver. And now he comes out and gives way to a 4th wide receiver.
3rd down and 9. They line Novacek up in the backfield. Keep him in the block. And the catch is made by Irvin, and he gets to the 40, and that's a Dallas first down with 1:10 to go in the opening period. And Michael, he's got the bad thigh. The quadricep pull keeps him from practicing full time, and he reached for it right there.
Well, he got the first down yardage against zone coverage. Jimmy Spencer laid off him. Spencer's got deep coverage. He had to play this tighter. He knew exactly where Irvin had to be for the first down. Laid off too far, slipped when he came back. First down, Dallas.
If you had a bruised quadricep, don't you think you'd be wearing some big thigh pads?
It doesn't look good.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see much of anything in Michael Irvin's front pockets there protecting his thigh.
Swing pass to Emmitt Smith out in the flat. And he gets tackled. Vinnie Clark stays right with him. Nice play by Clark.
Big time play by Vinnie Clark. Not a cornerback's vision of happiness is being faced one-on-one out in the flat with Emmitt Smith. That was a textbook look at how to tackle somebody in the open field by Clark.
It's a loss of 2. It'll be 2nd and 12. Cowboys huddle up, but that might be the final play of the quarter. There's the game clock ticking down. Aikman takes a look at it, and they'll change directions. That will be the end of the first quarter with the score Dallas 7, New Orleans nothing, and we'll return with Monday Night Football after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Never forget, turning
point. Swing. That's the lineup tomorrow night right here on ABC. Tim Allen with Home Improvement. Brett Butler, Grace Under Fire, headlining the attractions and the lineup for you on Wednesday in primetime right here on ABC. Second quarter begins at 2nd and 12. Dallas at the 43 of New Orleans. Cowboys on top 7-0. There's a marker down. Emmitt Smith takes it to the 39-yard line. Dale Hamer.
Holding. Number 60, the offense. 10 yards. Still 2nd down.
Derek Kennard, the former Saint. Let's check in with Lynn Swan. Lynn?
Al, you were talking about Michael Irvin and his thigh. I talked to him last night, and I asked him if it was 90, 95%. He said not even close. And all I'm going to do is wrap it tight to put pressure on my quad to keep it loose, maybe, and that's it. He said this game was too important. He had to play in it because he had to make sure the team had the right attitude going into the playoffs. Barry Switzer knew that to me before the game. His thigh was bothering him, and he was very concerned as to how long Michael Irvin could go this evening. Al?
2nd down and 22 at the 47-yard line. Bateman, little swing pass out to Emmitt Smith, and he gets crunched at midfield, takes it to the 49.
I think he remembered that was Vinnie Clark that put that good tackle on him on the last play of the first quarter, and now I think Emmitt said, well, try a little of this on for size.
It was like a projectile. He just lowered his head, no move, no. I mean, you anticipate Emmitt, who usually gives you a couple of jukes and tries to get around you. This time, there's no hesitation, but he put one on Vinnie Clark.
That may have been a sign of respect for Vinnie. I think that Emmitt knew who he was.
3rd and 18. Aikman has been perfect. He's 7 for 7. And Harper can't make the play. He's covered by Vinnie Clark.
Pretty big series for Vinnie Clark.
Well, that one should have been caught. That was right in the hands.
Aikman checking the replay. Clark got into a spat in Atlanta with June Jones, the coach. They put him on the waiver wire, and he's been a key pickup for the Saints.
Yeah, good play.
Great play by Clark.
It was over the top.
Knocking the ball out with the left hand. Boy, that was sweet.
John Jett to kick. And Tyrone Hughes was back, and then he came up. And they let it roll down to the 4-yard line, and it's down there by Kenneth Gann. So the Saints are pinned with 13:39 to go in the half, and Dallas up 7-0.
Oh, it's Deion's shoe. It's Deion Sanders' shoe. Woo! This is the shoe that Deion wears in the field. And now it's mine, all mine, and nobody can take it from me. Happy holidays to me.
At McDonald's, with the purchase of any large sandwich or extra value meal, get Field of Dreams.
If you build it, he will come.
And Back to the Future. Each just $5.99 during McDonald's Holiday Film Fest.
Scampi champagne.
I like it.
Sparkling, delicious. No champagne tastes like Vallatore.
Frankly, I think it tastes better than champagne.
One sip of Vallatore, one sip says it all.
In Hawaii, will the Eagles soar or will the Wildcats roar? Boston College beats Kansas State in the Jeep Eagle Aloha Bowl, Christmas Day on ABC Sports.
The Superdome in New Orleans. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, and Lynn Swan with you. The next to last Monday night game of the season. Next week we go to Minnesota, where the Vikings will host the San Francisco 49ers in a game that figures to be extremely key for the Vikings and some other teams as well. First down, New Orleans at the 4-yard line, and Mario Bates takes it out to the 8. Now, we mentioned at the beginning the Saints are still alive. Here's what has to happen for New Orleans to get to the playoffs. Number one, they have to win tonight. Then next Saturday, the Cowboys have to beat the Giants at the Meadowlands. The Buccaneers must beat the Packers in Tampa. The Falcons must beat the Cardinals, all 1 o'clock Eastern time games. If all those things happen, the Saints play a late game at Mile High against Denver, and if they can win that game at 8-8, Tom Benson, the owner of the team, will watch his Saints go into the playoffs.
Of course, if number one doesn't happen,
yeah,
forget 2 through 5.
It's over. On 2nd and 6. Everett rolling and throwing and winds up hitting Brad Muster, the former Chicago Bear, who has spent a good part of this season injured. He's had a hamstring pull that was slow to heal, and he's just now back in shape.
He's had a couple of tough years. He's had some back problems, hamstring all year, as you just said, but it's been a tough couple of years for Brad Muster. Came here as a free agent.
A couple things in this league. One of them is you got to be good. Number 2 is you got to be healthy. And if you're not healthy, you become a giant question mark. And quite frankly, right now, Brad Muster has reached that stage where you got to wonder how long his NFL career is going to last.
3rd down and 4. Everett guns one, and Torrance Small makes a fabulous catch with his hands almost in the reverse position. Washington and Gant converge on the tackle, and it's a 1st down.
Small, a 5th-round pick in '92, has really come on this year. They're actually getting a lot more out of him than they thought they would. It was his 41st reception of the season, and a beauty, backhanded it. Almost the only way you can catch that ball is backhanded, but I mean, he had the right hand on top.
Good thing his knee was there. I'm not sure he would have retained possession of that thing if he wasn't able to bounce it off his knee on the way up. What a catch.
Torrance Small, their 3rd down specialist. And Mario Bates is off to the races. Mario Bates into Dallas territory and pushed out of bounds by Woodson. Near the 30-yard line, they'll spot it at the 28.
Bates has tremendous acceleration, not great speed, which is pretty obvious when you're run down by Darren Woodson, but he will accelerate out of his cut. That time he plants the left foot and just bursts through the first line of defenders.
They'll put it at the 40-yard line. It's a 40-yard pickup.
Good block by Rolf von Haley.
No surprise that they go to the left side, and then he gets another big block by his tight end, Irv Smith, out front. Quinn Early comes through big. Extremely well-executed running play by the New Orleans Saints. They're still behind, though, 7-0.
Injury timeout. Bates is shaken up.
Season. He had reconstruction surgery in '92 and came back at Arizona State with a 1,100-yard season a year ago. And he wears a knee brace, and I think he got a cramp in it.
On 1st down, they give it to Brown, and he fumbles, but he gets it back after a 7-yard gain. There was an injury timeout after that 40-yard run by Bates. Not only his longest run of the season, but the longest by the Saints this season. So while they work on him, it is Derek Brown back in.
And Derek Brown with a pretty good piece of luck there. It's not often that the ball comes out that cleanly and one hops right back to you. And that's exactly what happened.
He was just fighting with it.
2nd and 3 at the 33. 11 minutes to go in the half. Cowboys lead 7-0 on a Tolbert interception return in the 1st quarter.
Chad Hennings that time. This front 4 of the Dallas Cowboys, they love to play the game on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Penetration is what it's all about for these guys. Penetration and disruption. And they love to get across the ball, screw up your blocking schemes, and cause chaos and confusion.
Good name for a movie. Penetration and disruption.
Chaos and confusion. That could be the title of this show.
Every week. 3rd and 2 at the 32. Everett throws. The catch is made, but it's underneath, and it's Michael Haynes, and forward progress is just shy of the 30, and that means just shy of a first down.
And that means decision time for Jim Mora.
Dixon Edwards made the play. It's going to be 4th down and less than 1.
His field goal kicker, Morton Anderson, is having a great year. He's not kicking a lot of long ones. He would be almost a dead cinch from here, but what do? You're down 7-0 to the defending Super Bowl champions.
They're going to bring the change in, but he'll be just short of the first down.
That's Robert Jones in the trailing position, and then that's Dixon Edwards.
That's a good tackle.
Comes from the outside. Yeah, he was coming right at him, but
he cut off any potential for first down yardage.
Dale Hammer tells us about 6 inches or so.
Well, critical first down. You think they're going to go left over Roth and Grombowski? They're going to go, or at least they're going to maybe come out and give us a long count.
.9:53 left in the half. Saints will go for it on 4th and inches.
If you're Carl Smith, do we go left where they think we're going to go, or do we try to break a tendency and go the other direction and maybe catch them slanting to our left and away from the play? You know, it's just a big chess game out there.
Bates is back in the game. He's the tailback behind the fullback Neal. They go left with Bates. He's got the first down on the 29-yard line behind a Lorenzo Neal block. Neal took Robert Jones out of the play, and that made the play.
Hey, when you've got 2 of the best offensive linemen working in the business over the left side, you almost got to go over there. There's Grombowski, 72. He gives the pull, and a good block by Bates. Good call out. That was a terrific block.
Sure was.
No first down without that one.
1st and 10 at the 28. 9:05 remaining in the first half. Dallas leading 7-0. Bates through the middle. Good side Cole. Gain of 6. Takes it to the 22-yard line. And again, Neal leading the way.
Well, it's a running attack that the New Orleans Saints aren't the first ones to find out that works against the Dallas Cowboys. They are a very fast team laterally, and if you are going to have success running the football, it's between the tackles and it's right upfield. And that's exactly what the Saints are trying to exploit right now.
And take them the way they move when you're blocking it.
Drive started back at the New Orleans 4. This time it's Lorenzo Neal, the second-year fullback out of Fresno State. He gets it to the 20. It's going to be 3rd down and about 1.5 yards. 3rd and short 2.
And you're always better off running right at Charles Haley than you are away from him. It's very Alan Page-ish in the sense that to negate his quickness, you try to neutralize him by attacking him right up front.
He's a risk taker, too. He slides in, he slides out. If you catch him with a straightaway block, you can take him the direction he's going and get a huge hole.
Haley's been replaced by Jeffcoat over on that side.
3rd and a short 2. Strong side right. They go that way, and nothing happens there as the play is broken up. Jim Jeffcoat takes care of Mario Bates. He led the charge, got some help, and it's 4th down. So now Morton Anderson comes in for what will be about a 41-yard attempt.
Rapidly paced game.
Well, anytime as much of it has been played on the ground as this one has, the clock keeps on spinning.
It'll be 40 yards officially. Tommy Barnhart has spotted. Morton Anderson hooks it and no good.
Like I said, he's having a great year.
Hit 5 last week at Atlanta, but 0 for 1 tonight. Long drive comes up empty. 6:55 to the half.
Anniversary moment brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It's just plain smart to fly Southwest, the low-fare airline.
In 1975, acrobatic Cowboy receiver Golden Richards made Monday Night Magic with his leaping one-handed touchdown grab.
Play action fake by Staubach. Going for Golden Richards, and he one-handed a beautiful catch. One-handed, the ball in the end zone, bobbling in the air.
Let me tell you,
Came down with it.
that's as good a catch as you're going to see.
Every year about this time, the folks at Southwest Airlines.
7-for-7 from 40 through 49 yards, but he hooked that one. And this big crowd has yet to see New Orleans put any points on the board tonight, despite moving the ball very well against the Dallas defense. 7-0, Dallas. Ball comes back to the spot of the missed kick, the 31-yard line, and Aikman goes to work from there. Troy is now 8 of 9, and even in New Orleans, the Moose call goes out. The play is over as Darrell Johnston makes the catch and takes it out to the 36-yard line. The Bud 1 airship. Our blimp tonight, and a spectacular sight, the Superdome in New Orleans. The Bud 1 airship floating high above the Crescent City.
And salute to Darrell Johnson by a lot of Cowboy fans. I think this game is sold out, consequently, as seen in New Orleans, principally because a lot of tickets were bought by Dallas fans early in the year.
Which is true in every stadium in the league.
2nd and 4. And Emmitt Smith bangs his way across the 50 to the Saint 49-yard line. A 14-yard gain for the great one.
This edition of the Dallas Cowboys has truly resurrected the label of America's team. Their fans are everywhere. Doesn't matter if this game's in Tampa against the Buccaneers, in Green Bay against the Packers. They'll be there.
Watch Emmitt Smith cover up the ball. He's coming into tonight. He had fumbled one time and nearly 400 carries. And you see the reason why. Like the great ball carriers, more than that, you're concentrating on tackling Emmitt Smith. You're not trying to swap the ball out. If you try to swap the ball, he's gone.
From the 49-yard line. That's knocked down. Nice play by Jimmy Spencer, reaching over to knock it down. The flag goes down, and the Saints secondary goes berserk.
I think the question is going to be, where was Spencer's left arm?
You got it.
Keep in mind, this flag is thrown by somebody who was well behind the play
and may get help.
Yeah, and so what?
Pass interference. Number 26 of the defense. First down.
Well, he calls it on Vince Buck. Spencer made the play, and the call is on Buck.
Well, then we'll give Jimmy Spencer credit for making the good play.
I think he just mixed up the numbers.
Let's take a look at it.
This was the focus of the call. There's the left hand we talked about. We can't see it too well.
There's no interference there. Now, if that was called against Jimmy Spencer, it's called by the guy who's 15 or 20 yards behind him and sees the left hand on the back of the receiver, but it had no bearing at all on the play.
That was Jim Knight, the back judge, and this is Emmitt Smith tackled by Sam Mills after a small gain.
Sam Mills, when he sticks a runner, they go boom, they go down. And he, again, I'll say it, as Dan mentioned, again, 229 pounds.
5'9".
Really hits.
5'9". That's what I can't get over.
This is the leverage. He comes up underneath them, and they just stay, they stay stuck.
In a game of behemoths, you wonder how Sam Mills survives in there.
Leading tackler for the Saints.
2nd and 9. Under 5 minutes left in the half, and that's knocked in the air and picked off by Darian Connor. And Connor is inside the 40, the 30, and tackled at the 16-yard line.
Larry Allen. I can't believe that.
Give me a break. The rookie from Sonoma State.
This guy weighs 325 pounds.
Wayne Martin batted it. We think Darian Connor with the pick, and Allen saves the touchdown.
I can't get over that.
He runs down a very speedy linebacker. A little bit of an angle, but this is a huge man.
This guy's got a rocket booster strapped to his back. All right, there's the bat by Martin. Right into Allen is still standing there. There he is to the left of your screen.
He didn't even get a running start at it.
Look at this, folks. 6'3", 325 pounds.
His arms like a sprinter.
I'm telling you, that's one of the most impressive athletic feats I have ever seen. That's amazing. Well, maybe not I've ever nasty, but it's pretty good.
Saints at the 15 as Everett off the fake, rolling. Everybody is covered. Seeks the sideline, and he got pushed at the end by Russell Maryland.
And the flag's thrown.
He's out of bounds at the 13.
There's a flag thrown there.
7, shoving the quarterback in the white. Half the distance to the goal.
Ooh, they didn't even
First
hesitate.
down.
He said in the white, which means on the sideline, the white painted area.
Yep, he's in the white. He's out of bounds and going out of bounds, and Russell gives him a good shove. We're going to take one more look at Larry Allen. Now, you're right. This might not be Nadia Comaneci's 10, and this might not be Carl Lewis winning the gold medal. But that is a remarkable piece of running by Larry Allen. Yeah.
Compton bred at Sonoma State, and what a find he has been. Second-round pick. Well, he's like Sonoma State. He's like a fine Lapierre wine.
It's going to be a long time before Darian Connor lives that down.
What year, Frank? Oh, 90 is really good. Okay. First and goal at the 7-yard line. Everett, incomplete, intended for Michael Haynes. Second and goal, 4:17 remaining in the first half. Run back's a key part of tonight's game. Tolbert running one back for a touchdown, and then the run back here by Connor. First and goal this season. The Saints have been terrific. 87%, best in the league. The league average 65%. The Saints have had a first and goal 15 times and have gotten into the end zone on 13 of those occasions. On second and goal, they give it to Bates, and he gets about half the distance they need as he takes it down to the 4-yard line. Third and goal now.
I still have visions of Larry Allen in my head. I can't get
to watch.
Good blocking at the point of attack by the Saints. 59-year-old Jim Mora. I can't believe that either.
Third down and goal. Early is in motion. Everett, good protection, throws, and incomplete, intended for Torrance Small. That might have been deflected, too, as it came out of there. Good coverage on the part of the Cowboys secondary. Carl Smith, the recipient of the chorus of boos with the play calling.
They'll make it 13 out of 16 now as far as touchdowns after a first and goal.
We talk about the Cowboys, how small they are, how quick they are, too, but they were rated second overall defensively coming after 14 games, so they are back on the road, taking it back to when they were number 1 in 92. 21-yard attempt by Anderson, who bangs it through. Barnhart with the hold. Allen saves 4 points in effect, and Dallas maintains the lead with 3:31 to go in the first half.
Just doesn't look right, does it?
It's not. Amazing. Superdome from the Bud 1 airship. A live shot downtown New Orleans. It was a spectacular day in southern Louisiana today. Clear skies, temperature around 60. And inside tonight, the sold-out Louisiana Superdome, where Dallas leads New Orleans 7-3. 3:31 to go in the half, and Morton Anderson sends it ceilingward down to the 8-yard line. Kevin Williams, who's run back and picked off for a touchdown this season, and a punt as well, brings it back to the 24-yard line, tackled by Winfred Tubbs. 3:22 left in the first half. The two-time defending champions leading by 4.
Let your
offense, but you're the fattest guy in the squad.
NYPD Blue, Tuesday. Viewer discretion advised.
Chipmunks? We're speechless.
Was that on the air?
We're on the 24-yard line. Emmett Smith picks up a yard. We can't afford something better than that.
Well, UFO transmission.
ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by the totally new Ford Contour, a world car for the 21st century. Beechwood Age Budweiser. It's always been true. This Bud's for you. And Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered. 2:52 left in the half. 7-3. The Cowboys on top. Second down and 9. Dallas from the 25-yard line. Troy Aikman. Emmett Smith has to reach for it. One-handed, picks up 4 out to the 28-yard line. Tackled by Tubbs. There's going to be a little bit of frustration on the part of the Cowboys offense. First of all, they didn't get the ball in the first quarter until there was only 6 minutes remaining. They've been unable to move the football, and this against a team that was rated 26th defensively in the league. Robert Ford communicates with Aikman. He's the tight ends coach. Ernie Zampese is the offensive coordinator.
The Cowboys do not use the electronic helmet. They do not have the speaker in the helmet for Troy Aikman. He doesn't like it. They still rely on the hand signals.
There's Zampese, who sends it down to Ford, and he signals it into Aikman. We come to the 2-minute warning in New Orleans. It'll be 3rd and 6 Dallas when we come back. Cowboys 7, Saints 3.
Stuff. We all want stuff.
The San Francisco 49ers tackle the Minnesota Vikings next week on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Christmas Day is Sunday, and we have football for you. The Kelly Tires Blue-Gray All-Star Classic. Great college seniors in action. And then to Hawaii for coverage of the Aloha Bowl. Boston College meets Kansas State. Football doubleheader this Sunday, Christmas Day. 3rd down and 6. 2 minutes to go. Dallas up by 4, and Troy Aikman avoids the corner blitz, but in the other corner, Jimmy Spencer picks it out. And Jimmy Spencer runs it in, but he may have stepped out up at the 27-yard line.
Yeah, he did, but it was a great read by Spencer. The blitz was on. He read Troy Aikman going to Michael Irvin, stepped in front of it. Great interception.
And he's out of bounds at the 27, though. He ran it in. A lot of the crowd thinks it's a touchdown, but it's not.
The Cowboy coaches are out on the field. The Saints are now just finding out that he's back at the 27. They're all the way down there. They had their extra point team and everything out there.
No touchdown, but Jimmy Spencer, what a great read. He took a great risk, too. Had Irvin turned that up, it could have been 6.
Larry Allen almost caught him.
The runner was ruled out of bounds at the 27-yard line.
Here comes the blitz, single coverage. Aikman knows it, tries to get it to Irvin. Had Irvin turned it up, had Aikman been able to read it, it could have been 6, but this was a good read.
Oh,
he called him back there, but boy, I didn't see him step.
I didn't see him step out either. Yeah, maybe there, maybe at the 1 he's out.
Maybe at the 1, unless a different angle shows us something other than what I thought I saw there. It didn't look like he stepped out of bounds.
No, last week we saw an interception return with a lateral in Miami where it should have been called back.
Stepped out of bounds.
Exactly. And now we have a reverse situation at the 26-yard line. Here's Everett. He's going to float one toward the end zone, and it's broken up at the last moment because it hung, and Clayton Holmes breaks it up, and Quinn Early looks for a flag and doesn't find one.
They come right at Clayton Holmes was filling in for an injured Larry Brown, and Everett short on the ball. Otherwise, an easy 6. He had to wait. Did Quinn Early?
It's interference all the way. That's interference. Yeah. Clayton Holmes came down and tomahawked the arms of Quinn Early well before the ball got there. This crowd is booing, and justifiably so.
This crowd would really be booing if they let him look at a replay on that run back.
Yes.
But they didn't show it to the in-stadium crowd. It's 2nd and 10. And the catch is made by Early at the 17-yard line.
Again against Clayton Holmes. He's getting all the attention from the Saints passing attack. As well he should. Larry Brown is a good man-for-man defender. He's out with a shoulder injury, and Holmes, who ordinarily is nickel or a dime man, is in there getting a lot of man-for-man assignments.
The Saints still have all 3 of their timeouts left here, and the clock comes into play.
1st and 10 at the 16-yard line. It's Bates. He takes it inside the 15 to the 14-yard line.
I think you got to use one here. Yeah.
And New Orleans takes a timeout with 1:06 remaining in the half. And Dallas hanging on by 4.
Irvin, they have ESP, man. I've seen them on the field like cosmic twins. ESP. It's a special message for Michael and Troy.
It's an unlikely team.
No one wants to go with me!
Against an unstoppable army.
We're coming!
Winner take all. Jean-Claude Van Damme, Raul Julia, Street Fighter, rated PG-13. Starts Friday.
The deal of the year on Ford Taurus is...
Go back a moment ago to Jimmy Spencer's interception. Now look at the official on the right. Watch his head. There is where Spencer is ruled out of bounds. The official, he does not take his eyes off the foot. That has got to be a good call. He is right on top of it. He did not even look up.
Well,
this is a no call here.
I'll say that he's in the right position to make the right call. It sure looked to me like Spencer was inbound.
Right. There's the interference, non-call, and it's second down now and 8 from the 14-yard line. Everett throws, and the catch is made up at the 16-yard line. Wesley Walls, and actually they're going to say he was out of bounds, and it barely matters there because it would have been no gain anyway. 58 seconds remaining. It'll be third down and 8. Saints have 2 timeouts left.
I don't think Barry Switzer has seen what he wanted to see so far in this first half for his 2-time defending National Football League champions.
Well, they've been tough in this red zone. Third down and 8. Everett guns it over the middle. The catch is not made. Wolves had it and dropped it.
Everett had it in there. He's looking for pass interference against Walls.
He's barking away in the end zone, and this is going to bring out Morton Anderson again. Here's a good look at it. This thing is coming right at you. It's a beautiful toss by Everett. There's Walls. Certainly no interference call. James Washington was the closest guy. Torrance Small in there as well.
Oh, and they usually sure-handed Walls. 32-yard field goal attempt by Morton Anderson is good. So Morton has missed from 40, but connected on 2 shorter ones to account for all the scoring. But instead of 7, they get 3, and Dallas still leads. Friday night so far for the Saints have been able to move the ball. They've had a lot of opportunities, but they still trail by 1. Dallas's touchdown coming on a first quarter interception run back by Tony Tolbert. Morton Anderson has kicked 2 field goals for the Saints. Dallas leads 7-6 in a game that means nothing to Dallas. They're simply just trying to become sharper down the stretch. The Saints still alive, still mathematically alive in their quest to get to the playoffs. To kick off, and it's a very short kick. Coming up and taking the ball at the 24-yard line is Williams. He's able to get to the corner and then run it upfield to the 47-yard line. And that's where Dallas has it with 42 seconds and 3 timeouts remaining. Next Monday, the final game of the regular season. The 49ers, the #1 seed in the NFC and playing the best football of all, obviously, in the National Football League at the moment, against the Vikings in a game that in all likelihood will be extremely important. If the Vikings win the game, they will win the NFC Central. They will host a first-round game. If they lose, there are all kinds of possibilities. A lot of things can happen next Monday night, contingent upon what happens Saturday and Sunday. Here is Emmitt Smith taking it down to the 42.
You know, a really curious decision by the Saints to give it that high kickoff. The Cowboys have all 3 of their timeouts left. They just used one of them here. This will leave them with 2. But it really allowed the Cowboys to start with dynamic field position, clear up at their own 47-yard line. There was 40-some seconds left on the clock. It's not going to be that difficult for the Cowboys to get into field goal range.
Right now, they're at the 42-yard line. They have 36 seconds, and they have 2 timeouts remaining.
You could see the way the Saints were converging, the way they slid over their kickoff coverage unit, that Anderson was going to kick that high pooch kickoff, and it backfired.
Interesting, Ernie Zampese is relaying information down to his quarterback, Troy Aikman. And Ernie Zampese, for 7 years with the Rams, was the coach of Jim Everett. They got together here this evening, and I was talking with Ernie, a former USC Trojan, and saying how proud he was of the way Jim Everett has developed this year.
Ernie, that's bad for you. 1st and 10 at the 42. Pump fake, goes deep, throws it well short. Alvin Harper had got free.
Safety blitz, Tyrone Leggett right in the face of Troy Aikman. Aikman had to release that ball off balance. That one could have been picked off. Troy a little rusty from those 2 games off. Rusty against the Browns. There is Leggett right in his face.
Second down, 10 now at the 42-yard line. Kevin Williams in the game as the extra receiver. He was the man in motion. The catch is made over the middle by Jay Novacek. He takes it to the 29-yard line. They are now in field goal range, and they stop the clock with 21 seconds remaining and 1 timeout.
You know, one of the good, excuse me, Dan, again, a good read of the blitz as Novacek and both Aikman were right in sync.
And one of the things I think that Jay Novacek doesn't get enough credit for is how effective he is after he catches the ball. Granted, last week he slipped trying to get into the end zone against the Browns. But Jay Novacek is really a lot more slippery and a lot more fluid than you might think. And he subtly picks up. Look at this. Now there's a miss. He makes a miss. Then there's another move. Then it's the head down. And before you know it, where you look where he might have been tackled, he's picked up another 5, 6, 7 yards. This guy,
field goal range.
Yep, this guy is going back to the Pro Bowl for good reason. He is a complete ball player. But when you start picking up a half a dozen yards that maybe another guy wouldn't have gotten over the course of a game, that's a lot of good field position for your club.
You look at Chris Boniol, his longest field goal of the season, 47 yards at Washington in game 4. If they don't pick up another yard here, he'd be looking at a 47-yarder. And the Saints jump. Flags are down. The catch is made underneath by Emmitt Smith, who gets tripped up at the 19-yard line by Sam Mills.
Oh, and Troy Aikman's got one of the fine hard counts in the game.
Offside Saints.
Put him right up there at John Elway at drawing people off sides.
Turnbull game over.
Good quarterbacks. They'll save that little extra hard count for just the right moment.
Well, you've got 16 seconds. They're explaining to Aikman, do you want to have a first down and a 5-yard pickup to about the 23 or 2nd and 1 at the 19?
Offside. Defense, number 97. Penalties decline. 2nd down.
Yeah, you might as well take the extra 4 yards
Sure.
at this point, because the down means nothing.
They're
with 16
irrelevant.
seconds.
Turnbull offsides, and Aikman, it's almost imperceptible, but if you're out there as a defensive player, you're keyed up for a big play, and well, it's just that little extra inflection in the voice, and offside you come.
I let Alvin Harper jump up for one in the end zone here. I tap onto that leaping ability.
2nd and 1 at the 19, and instead they give it to Emmitt Smith. He gets wrestled down at the 13 by Vince Buck, and Switzer says, give me a timeout, and the clock keeps rolling. And now they're forced into a position where all they can do is kick the field goal.
Boy, if you throw the pass into the end zone, you could have had 2 plays. And instead they get 1 run, and now the field goal. not all that good in the clock management department there by the Cowboys.
Well, vaguely reminiscent of what happened in the Cleveland game, and they were second guessed, and it's kind of silly in a way because Novacek slipped down, as you recall, at the end of the game against Cleveland, and people said, well, into the end zone, but I mean, if it doesn't slip, they score the touchdown.
Yeah, he's in the end zone easy. That's a moot point, I think.
Brent Musburger in our studio in New York, and he'll visit with Chris Carter, the new record holder. He's now caught more balls than anybody in the history of the National Football League, and we'll see Chris and the Vikings next week in that critical game for them against San Francisco. I had a chance to visit last night with the great Troy Aikman. I hope of that conversation coming your way at halftime.
I hope Chris Carter bought a beautiful Rolex for Warren Moon, or a sleek sports car or something. His life changed when #1 arrived.
This will be a 30-yard field goal attempt for Boniol. Novacek is the holder, and the rookie sends it through. Chris Boniol from Louisiana Tech. As time expires, and that is the end of the first half at the Superdome. Aikman and the Cowboys trot off the field, leading by a score of 10-6, and will return to halftime activities after this word from our ABC station.
Question about the Dallas Cowboys. Is this rustiness temporary, or are they slipping a bit? One thing's for sure, we'll have a new representative in the Super Bowl from the AFC. The end of an amazing era with the Buffalo Bills. Yes, next year, look for Bruce Smith, look for Andre Reed, look for Thurman Thomas, look for Jim Kelly, all to be back in Buffalo playing for the Bills. We welcome now Peter King of Sports Illustrated. But Peter, you're not so sure about the rest of that franchise.
Brent, free agency could be devastating to this franchise. They lead the league with 21 free agents entering the 1995 offseason, including 10 starters. They could really be hurt, especially by this triumvirate of real leaders on this team. I can see Ken Hull, the center, and Darryl Talley both be gone, but it looks like Cornelius Bennett will be given a franchise designation by the team, which means that they can keep him at any cost. Now, the one fear that I think a lot of people in Buffalo and around the league have is that Bill Polian, their former general manager, now running the Carolina franchise, could back a truck up to Rich Stadium and take a bunch of these free agents with him.
Peter, our final Monday night game next Monday is a dandy. The Minnesota Vikings means everything. They play San Francisco, but Warren Moon is questionable. What a freak accident. He relaxes. He thinks he's out of harm's way, and then a defender rolls up on the left leg. Strained knee ligaments, questionable. Earlier tonight, I asked his great wide receiver, Chris Carter, if he thought Warren will be back.
I really don't know. I think right now it's the best thing. The injury happened on a Saturday, and we have a Monday game, so give him the time to get some rest. But if anyone can make it out there next Monday, I know it's him.
I know you marvel at the fact that he's still playing at the age of 38, Chris.
I mean, he's unbelievable. Sometimes you just can't put age as a time clock on certain people, and I think he's just a freak of nature.
What a combination they have been. What's your feeling about Warren next Monday?
If they need him next Monday, Brent, he'll be there.
Now, I want to ask you about Wade Phillips, the Denver coach.
It looks like right now that Wade Phillips, who was secure in midseason, could be in trouble now, could be replaced by either Mike Shanahan or ABC's favorite coach, Dennis Erickson of the University of Miami, unless he shows well this weekend. Whatever happens, it looks like Charlie Waters, their fine defensive coordinator, is out regardless.
Well, Peter, I know you said to me that one thing has to happen for the Dallas Cowboys in the next couple weeks. Troy Aikman has to regain his form. We're going to hear from Troy when we continue in a moment.
I don't want to be around when it goes down. I've been on both ends, and at least for me, they don't pay enough in the National Football League to go through winning 15 seasons.
January 2nd on ABC Sports. A day-long celebration begins with the 106th Tournament of Roses Parade. And our college football triple-header kicks off as Alabama meets Ohio State in the CompUSA Florida Citrus Bowl. Then undefeated Penn State stakes its claim to the national title. They battle Pac-10 champ Oregon in the Rose Bowl. And that night it's a much-awaited rematch. After a bitterly fought tie, Florida State and Florida meet again in the USF&G Insurance Sugar Bowl. It's all January 2nd on ABC.
Troy Aikman and the Dallas Cowboys trying to win the Super Bowl for the third consecutive year. And last night in New Orleans, Al Michaels had a conversation with Troy.
Troy, is this team at all fueled by a feeling the likes of which might be expressed along the lines of, hey, Jimmy, thanks for the memories. We won 2 Super Bowls, but we can win a third without you.
Well, I think that's the motivation for this football team, and that's the way we have approached it as a team. And that's the message that I tried to express to my teammates when all this was going on, and that, you know, this is our opportunity, number one, to do something that no other football team has done, and number two, to say to everybody that we had as much as players to do with the success of this football team over the last 2 years as what Jimmy did or any one coach did. And that's not taking anything away from those people. Jimmy certainly was a major part of our success, as was North Turner, our offensive coordinator, and others. But we had to try to gain something positive from it, and that's the approach that we've taken.
In your 6 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys, what is the one brightest moment?
The thing that I would remember most always from the rest of my life would be the feeling that we all had on the sidelines once we won the first Super Bowl there at the Rose Bowl against Buffalo, and seeing all the faces of the people that had been on this football team in '89 when we were 1-15.
In a conversation last week with Don Shula, who's also on the competition committee, he said one of the things the league must address this offseason is the safety of the quarterback. What do you think the league should do in that regard?
There's one of 2 ways that you can prevent some of the seriousness of the injuries that have occurred. Number one, you can just say quarterbacks are off limits and you can't hit them, of which I wouldn't be completely opposed to. And secondly, I think that maybe what you could do is if we went back to leather helmets, now I don't think I'd play wearing a leather helmet, but if you went back to leather helmets, then you wouldn't have some of the violent collisions that you have and guys using their helmet as a weapon. Thirdly, I think that one of the problems, and players get fined for the violent hits that they've had, but yet that is what is glorified. It's the big hit.
Will the pounding you take as a quarterback cause you to retire prematurely?
I think it'll be the injuries that force me out of the game. I don't think there's any question. I think that I will physically be unable to play any longer before the natural progression of just not being able to keep up because of age. And I hope that that's 7, 8, 9 years down the road, but personally at this point in my career, I feel that the injuries will be what drives me out.
Brent, there are a few more glamorous job descriptions in America than quarterback. Dallas Cowboys. I asked Troy last night if he savors it or tolerates it. He says, as long as we win, I savor it. They're looking for that third. I'll look at Troy Aikman. Back to you, Brent.
All right, Al, thank you very much. We would like to pass along our condolences to the families of Ed DeBartolo and Phil Bengtson. Ed DeBartolo was the father of Eddie DeBartolo, Jr., who runs the San Francisco 49ers. Phil Bengtson was a long-time defensive assistant with Vince Lombardi. And then he tried an impossible job. He tried to succeed Vince as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. Our condolences tonight go out to the families of Ed DeBartolo Sr. and also Phil Bengtson. The second half of the Dallas Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints is coming up on ABC.
Okay, for those stories and more, join us for News 28 right after Monday Night Football. We'll see you then.
The most powerful TV signal in Michiana, 28 WSJV.
Here we go. We start the second half in New Orleans. The Saints still alive mathematically. Their playoff hopes are flickering, though. They must win this game and have some other things happen. And right now they trail 10-6. And Morton Anderson sends it down to the 2-yard line. Kevin Williams little burst up past the 20 and tackled at the 26-yard line. And that's where the Cowboys will begin their first drive of the second half. The Superdome in New Orleans, final home game for the Saints. They close next Saturday at Denver. Most of the games in the NFL next weekend are Saturday because Christmas is Sunday. There's one game Sunday night, very significant game, Detroit against Miami, and then our game Monday night, San Francisco and Minnesota.
Dan pointed out right before the end of the first half when the New Orleans Saints chose or elected to kick a short kickoff. They kicked a long one here, and the Cowboys now start at the 25. They got their field goal. They started at the 45.
Here's Emmitt Smith. Cowboys begin this half after amassing the fewest yards in the first half in any game this season. Starting with the San Francisco game, when they went to Candlestick, Aikman has now thrown 1 touchdown pass and 7 interceptions.
It's kind of out of sync, and I think this is what Barry Switzer is so worried about. You like to finish in a burst.
Yeah.
And they're in a different kind of a burst.
Second down and 7 at the 29. Aikman throws, and that's incomplete, intended for Michael Irvin, covered by Spencer. You know, Frank, one of the things, Switzer's in a position where his team can't better its position or worsen it. They're going to be the number 2 seed regardless. They don't want to get anybody hurt, obviously. They want to keep their key people healthy. But you're right, they want to obtain that measure of sharpness. And as Barry said, when I was in college, I was never in a situation like this. When you fight for a national championship, you don't have games like we've got tonight and next week.
Doesn't matter if you won the Big 8 with 3 games left to go. An undefeated season and impressing the pollsters is what counts.
That last play, I mean, Aikman and Irvin were totally out of rhythm.
Third down and 7. And the catch is made by Kevin Williams, and he's out of bounds up at the 40. And let's get a word from Lynn Swann.
Well, Al, Barry was talking about the team at halftime, saying that he liked their intensity. He wants them to come out and not make the mistakes in the first half, and he's going to put the ball up deep. I asked him about Michael Irvin. He said he is still concerned. He talked to Michael. Michael says he wants to play. But if he's going to throw the ball deep and Michael Irvin can't go, maybe this might be the time he needs to consider the fact that they don't have to go undefeated to win a championship and maybe pull them out in the second half. Al?
He has to think about that tonight. He has to think about that with his key people next week in the game at the Meadowlands.
You want to get some speed at wide receiver, why don't you move Larry Allen out there?
Here's Aikman going deep and too deep and off the hand of Spencer. Alvin Harper well covered on the play.
I think Larry Allen would have got to that ball.
Yeah. Second down.
This time Aikman just taking the risk, and not a risk really. Alvin Harper has gone up and come down with a lot of footballs for him. A good position. Jimmy Spencer, he knows he's got help to the inside. Jimmy Spencer only is 5'9", and Harper is 6'3", but he had good position.
You know, thinking about Switzer and George Seifert next week in Minnesota, you've got 2 coaches now, and they're in a cross current. You have to think about your team, but you also have to think about the integrity of the league. I'll pick up in a second on that as Emmitt Smith picks up a couple. Now, Switzer clearly wants to keep his guys healthy, but that's a very important game for the New York Giants next week. It could determine their playoff fate, and you owe it to the integrity of the game to play your key people.
And I agree with it.
Well, I agree with it too, but you want to coach the team the best you can to take it to one thing, and that's the Super Bowl if you can get there. And I think Barry Switzer, quite honestly, would like to play his guys as tough as he can tonight, and I think that he'll probably back off a little bit against the Giants.
Yep, and Seifert's in that same position in Minnesota next week. Third down and 8 at the 43-yard line. Aikman throws, the catch is made. That's a first down as Michael Irvin hauls it in at the 48.
And taking that another step, I think another consideration here for Barry Switzer and the Cowboys is not just the integrity of the league, which I agree with you, Al, wholeheartedly, but he needs this club, especially offensively, to start playing better.
Right.
This is no way to be heading into the playoffs herky-jerky, not moving the ball consistently. You know, a good barometer, we were here 3 weeks ago to watch the 49ers play the Saints, and they dismembered the Saints. I mean, they ran them out of the building 35-14, and I'm not seeing that same level of play out of the Cowboys tonight. that we witnessed 3 weeks ago by the 49ers.
Well, and you got 5 of this front 7 for the Dallas Cowboys are headed for the Pro Bowl, and they're not playing that way tonight.
And don't tell me Jerry Jones, the man in the middle there, isn't concerned.
It is 2nd down and 6 at the 43-yard line. 11:40 to go, 3rd quarter. Cowboys 10, Saints 6. And Emmitt Smith takes it to the 38, tackled by Turnbull and Mills.
You know, some of you listening to the 3 of us here dissect the Cowboys might, you know, say, well, geez, guys, aren't they winning the ball game 10-6? Yes, they are. But when you're the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions, you are judged and you are gauged on a different level than everybody else. And this is, everybody is looking at the potential Cowboy 49er clash if it happens in the NFC Championship game. And everything both the 49ers and the Cowboys do between now and then is a prelude to that, and is going to be judged.
3rd and 1. Emmitt Smith takes it down to the 36.
And this is a defensive team on the part of the New Orleans Saints that after 14 games is ranked 26th out of 28 teams in the league, and the Cowboys are hardly running over them.
No, but we will say this to credit the Saints. They have been getting better, and they have been playing better as weeks go by. Jim Moore, in my estimation, has really done the right thing in breaking this thing all the way down, starting over in a sense, kept some key people like that guy Sam Mills, but he has blended in a lot of kids and a lot of good young talent. It'll be painful for a while, but they are improving.
10th play of the drive. 1st and 10 from the 36, and Aikman is on the money, and the catch is made by Michael Irvin, and he's bumped out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
And this is
another 1st down.
And more of a kind of drive we're used to watching when the Cowboys are in sync and in gear. This drive starting at their own 25, a little bit of sprinkle in a little Smith, you throw in a little Irvin.
See how gingerly Michael moves back to the huddle.
They must have determined that he can't damage that any further, because he would certainly be somebody you would not be taking a risk with in a game that, as we pointed out, is really not that meaningful to them.
1st and 10 at the 24. Emmitt Smith. I'm not quite sure I've ever understood when somebody says you can't damage something any further. I mean, it's, when you think about it in a literal sense.
Well, Junior Seau, he's a classic. He's playing with a pinched nerve that affects him dramatically. He hardly used one arm, and yet I'm sure his medical people would not let him play if he's going to damage it any further. I don't know. I bet a pulled quadricep, and you can really damage it. You can get it to the point where you can't play.
Yeah, his is more along the lines of a bruise rather than a pull. But yeah, I think any muscle injury can be aggravated.
2nd and 10 at the 24-yard line. Aikman hangs in that pocket, hits Novacek, breaks the tackle by Mills, and Jay gets taken down at the 14, and that's very close to a 1st down.
We were talking about that right before the half. Once he catches the football, he is a Brent Jones type. He's the 2 best tight ends in the game today.
Robert Ford flashing in the signal. It's a 1st down, Dallas.
A guy originally not protected by the Arizona Cardinals, came to Dallas as a Plan B guy, and boy, what an addition Jay Novacek has been, the Cowboy from Wyoming.
1st and 10 at the 14. The Cowboys on the opening drive of the 2nd half, leading by 4, looking for more. Emmitt Smith takes it to the 7, and Smith smelling that end zone. Emmitt has scored 2 touchdowns in each of his last 6 games, and as we mentioned at the very beginning, 21 touchdowns this season, 3 shy of John Riggins' all-time NFL record.
And this has to be bringing a smile to Barry Switzer's face. This is the kind of a drive that he's been used to seeing, and there's an illustration there of who's in front of Emmitt Smith. Foreman, Sayers, Rice, Simpson, Riggins with 24. Emmitt 3 away from tying. 20 rushing, 1 receiving.
2nd and 4. Smith dancing and darting. Stopped at the 6-yard line. It'll be 3rd and a deuce. Sam Mills takes the stop.
The one impressive number that we saw on that list, O.J. Simpson, he did that in a 14-game season. Chuck Foreman's numbers up there were during the 14-game season as well. When these guys have the benefit now of playing 16 games.
That's something New Orleans really wants to corral big number 84 here. This is Novacek territory.
15th play of a drive that's consumed almost 8 minutes. 3rd and 2. Aikman, the deep drop. Good protection, but the coverage is there, and he's going to run it down to the 2 for a 1st and goal. Hit by Winfred Tubbs, the rookie.
Well, you can get the coverage, but then you can't get the pressure. Good coverage, good pickup. Irvin and Harper and Novacek. But they couldn't get the pressure on Aikman, and he almost took it in. Looking for Novacek. Pulls it down.
No slide here by Troy Aikman. He goes down there head first. Looked initially when he broke out of the pocket like he might find his way into the end zone.
1st and goal from the 1. In comes 22. Emmitt Smith looking for his 22nd touchdown, and that's 22 for 22.
From the 2.
And a great drive by the Cowboys. That drive is 74 yards and takes 8:33 off the clock.
That's a championship drive.
I'd like to have been in that locker room at halftime. They're not a very demonstrative ball club, but I bet they were talking to each other. Not so much the coaching staff. Emmitt took a little peek to the inside, saw it easy to the outside, just sprinted around Vince Buck.
Tuane Newton, Jay Novacek working the left side. Well executed running play.
O'Neal for the point after. The Cowboys on that drive picked up 7 first downs. 6:27 to go in the 3rd. Dallas extends its lead to 11. You'd be immortalized in cartoonery.
They're going to do that with me, but all my highlights are black and white.
I never thought I would, but that was very interesting.
Super Bowl 10 MVP on our sideline, Lynn Swan. 4 receptions that day, about 150 yards.
Well, the Cowboys have just extended their lead to 17-6. O'Neal sent it down to Hughes. Tyrone Hughes from the 6-yard line. Out past the 20, the 30, and takes a hard hit at the 33-yard line. And it whacked them. 6:17 left in the 3rd.
It's a football tradition. They'll strut their stuff in the Kelly Tires Blue-Gray All-Star Classic, Christmas Day on ABC.
Well, the Cowboys are seeking their 3rd consecutive Super Bowl title, but gents, we've seen the 49ers lately. We'll see them next week. It's hard to imagine anybody can be playing any better than San Francisco at this moment.
491 points. They lead the league in scoring, and that's well over 100 points more than the 2nd leading team, Dallas.
But again, we all know Dallas, how well they've played in the postseason the last couple of years. They have gone to San Francisco and won an NFC Championship game. And the way they are starting to play here in the 2nd half, Charles Haley giving a good look at maybe they're going to pick up the tempo a little bit defensively. It's just a matter of them gaining some momentum here, I think, heading into the postseason. It's what Barry Switzer's looking for. They're still the 2 best teams in football, and I don't see anybody else really gaining that level quite yet.
Still would have liked to have been there at halftime. This team has a lot of pride. There's a lot of individuals down there that care so much about themselves personally as it fits into a team, and I bet there was some chatting going on.
They want to write some history. They want to be the first one to win 3 in a row.
Bates, after that 8-yard loss, takes this little pass from Everett and brings it up to the 36-yard line.
And when I say 3 in a row, I'm talking Super Bowls. NFL historians remember that the Green Bay Packers won 3 NFL championships in a row. That was one of those was they were pre-Super Bowl, but this is a team that wants to bring that Lombardi trophy back to Dallas for the 3rd consecutive time, and it has not been done before.
For a number of reasons, and Aikman expressed one of them at the half. They're out to prove something. It's 3rd down and 8 at the 36-yard line. And the catch is made by Quinn Early, who gets wrestled out of bounds by Holmes, but he picks up the 1st down near midfield.
It always happens when a cornerback goes out of a game, a good defensive back. You bring in a man who hasn't played that position much. They find him, they work him all night long, and we've seen them going at Clayton Holmes all night long. Went early with the little drive. Pretty good positioning on the part of Holmes. Just good protection for Jim Everett.
Again, Clayton Holmes playing tonight because Larry Brown, his sprained left shoulder, is getting a rest tonight. Switzer trying to get him back ready.
Here is Neal, and he gets wrestled down. That's Tony Tolbert, who in the first quarter intercepted a pass and ran it back for a Dallas touchdown. Well, I talked to Jimmy Johnson today. I had to give him a call and just ask him what he thought about the Cowboys this year in relation to the 49ers. And he said just because they lost to Cleveland and to San Francisco recently, he said people can fall into a trap thinking they can't beat the 49ers. He sees the San Francisco-Dallas matchup, if it happens, as a toss-up. 2nd and 13. As the catch is made by Michael Haynes.
Did he happen to tell you what his plans were?
Well, I wanted to see if there was a follow-up. He said my intentions are, as I stated yesterday, not
Oh,
to
he
go
did?
into
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So here's Barry Switzer at work today. And what was Jimmy doing? When I first placed the call, he was out finding snails for his aquariums.
Oh. Yeah, now we've carried the Jimmy Johnson thing about it far. When you start talking about his snails, I mean, we've gone over the edge with that.
We covered that. That's about all we're left with on Monday night, right?
That's right.
Everything else was taken care of over the weekend.
Where do we escargot from here?
Oh, okay. Right to dessert. Yeah. They're going to measure. And that will be a first down. You know, there are some people who still think that even though Jimmy said what he said.
I wonder why. I mean, Jimmy said things in the past that one would question.
Well, not just Jimmy, but, you know, as Dan pointed out last week, people in this business have been known to change their minds before.
Here today, gone tomorrow.
1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. Everett pump fakes. Goes deep. Well short. Flag down.
Quinn Early cracking the double coverage.
I think
37 is Washington.
I think James Washington is arguing we were looking back at the football. That we both got a right to that ball.
Pass interference. Defense, number 28. First down in spite of the foul.
They call it against Darren Woodson. It's Clayton Holmes and Washington in the coverage. There is Darren Woodson, number 28. The short coverage with Holmes. Woodson over there to help him.
The only thing I can figure out is what he calls. See the left arm?
Arm.
That's the call. The call is not Woodson playing the ball at the end of this play. It's about 4 or 5 yards back upfield. He clearly had the left arm impeding progress. Good call by the official.
1st and 10 at the 13. Mario Bates hit hard at the 10-yard line. Darren Woodson comes up to knock him down.
There it is, right there. That's interference.
Well, there's no question. He's holding the right arm down of Quinn Early. He can't even get the arm up for the catch.
That's interference, but there's Woodson saying, hey, take a look at the video board up here. That's really a fine play on my part. Notice the official is not playing the board, but he's playing the defensive back.
30. No dice. 2nd and 7 at the 10.
Contrary to Al, no dice.
No dice, yes. Here's Mario Bates taking it to the 6.
Mario Bates on a little bit of a roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Like bones traveling down that filth all the way to the 6-yard line. 3rd and 3.
Jim Moore, maybe one of the fine jobs of many fine jobs he's done coaching. Interesting guy, very loyal guy. He's got guys who've been with him for years. The 2 coordinators were with him at the University of Colorado.
3rd down and 3 at the 7-yard line. Early in motion. Everett, that deep drop. Flushed out. Dixon Edwards blows him down to the 15-yard line, and Morton Anderson comes in to try a field goal.
Not pretty, but he didn't do something ugly either. I mean, he could have got himself in trouble, thrown that away, had a picked off.
But he's out of the pocket, Frank. He's able to throw that ball clear out, just toss it out of bounds. He's out of the pocket.
He's afraid of it.
But he could have thrown it laterally out of bounds. He's out of that pocket, has the protection. There's no intentional grounding. He could have just flicked it out of bounds and saved his team a little yardage.
Morton Anderson, now this is a 30-yard attempt, Barnhard to hold. He's made him from 21 and 32 and missed from 40. And this one is good. Officially a 29-yarder for Morton, who's accounted for all of the Saints scoring. Cowboys 17, Saints 9.
How do you turn a 3.5-liter, 24-valve, 214 horsepower cab-forward performance machine into a luxury car? Wash it. Chrysler LHS, an invigorating expression of form following function.
What is thy bidding, my master?
There is a great disturbance in the Force. Get his battery.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Still going. Long-lasting Energizer batteries keep going and going.
Red Dog here. Look at him. Making fools of themselves. And for what? A pat on the head and a dog biscuit?
What do you think of that?
You got a mind of your own.
Oh.
Know what I'm saying? Do what's right for you. Hey, buddy, nothing personal.
Red Dog beer. Bold yet smooth, easy to drink.
But I don't jump through hoops for nobody.
Tonight on ABC in prime time, it begins with Full House and concludes with NYPD Blue. And then on a Wednesday night, Sister Sister and Turning Point bracketing that. The impressive primetime lineup right here on ABC.
Beginning, of course, tonight.
Yeah. Kevin Williams back to receive this kick. 1:29 left third quarter. The Dallas Cowboys on top 17-9. Williams from the 6. And he gets taken down up at the 28-yard line by Winfred Tubbs with 1:20 left in the third. The Cowboys 17. New Orleans 9.
Wrangler jeans. Available in the 2 colors boys prefer most. Black and blue. Wrangler. Real, comfortable jeans.
That's roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost.
Dan, what a lovely voice. Net King Cole. From the 28-yard line, the Dallas Cowboys have Emmitt Smith picked up 7 to the 35.
Did Emmitt hurt himself? Emmitt clutched at his leg when he was going down. Oh, boy. He really went down awkwardly. He looked like he caught his feet somehow. Let's take a look at this from behind. Watch the feet of Emmitt Smith. Ooh, right there, the left leg. Boy, that, Frank, I'm not going to guess. But
well,
I've seen guys do that before.
Hamstring problems.
And that looks like a classic guy pulling his hamstring.
Yep, he had it last year, missed a couple of games, which they promptly lost.
And look at him grab with that right hand going for the left leg.
Well, while the Cowboys hold their breath, we'll step aside for
Blair
a second.
Thomas
work
is
on
his
Emmitt
backup.
Smith, and Blair Thomas, recently signed, will come in to take his place.
Quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs talks about heroes.
All I can do is play the game the best that I can. But I don't believe the only heroes are found on the football field. I think there are a lot of heroes in life who win every day. They volunteer because they want to help someone else get a break. They reach out a helping hand to their neighbors, and they give to the United Way. Because of them, United Way is reaching those who need help, touching us all.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Well, this is about as nightmarish a scene as the Cowboys could have envisioned, with Emmitt Smith not putting any weight on that leg, being helped off the field and being worked on, and obviously we'll get a report to you
and grimacing all the way to the Cowboys sideline. He is in pain.
It is 2nd and 4, and Darrell Johnston lunges for a couple of yards. Meanwhile, Blair Thomas comes in to take his place, and this was his 19th carry of the night. He picks up 74 yards, and all right, that'll do it for the evening, obviously.
Watch on this step right here, as he really puts weight on the left leg. Boy, he just goes down, doesn't want to risk putting anything on that thing again. And here's a look at Emmitt as he was helped off, an arm over the shoulder of 2 Cowboy medical personnel, and it hurts. That's a guy who has never missed a regular season game because of injury. Everybody remembers he missed a couple last year during the contract dispute.
3rd down and 2, and that's Blair Thomas picking up a first down. ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Chrysler and the new Chrysler Cirrus Sports Sedan. Red Dog, bold yet smooth, unusually easy to drink. This is Red Dog territory. And the Discover card, it pays to Discover, the card that pays you back.
Well, in case you...
That is the end of the 3rd quarter. The score is Dallas 17, New Orleans 9, and we'll return with Monday Night Football after this word from our ABC stations.
Saturday, Tony takes on the feds when Rachel's held hostage.
This is a federal case. He's got my wife, and that makes this my jurisdiction.
The Commish, Saturday here on ABC. Christmas night, unravel a mystery.
Did you notice anything unusual?
It's Columbo like you've never seen him.
Well, can I go?
Well, sir, you won't go far, will you?
Tyne Daly and Peter Falk star in a special Columbo Sunday here on ABC.
Making it to the pros takes a certain level of excellence, the experience to get the job done right, and a reputation for quality. Like top-quality CarQuest batteries, professional technicians know that CarQuest batteries perform each and every time for sure starting power. CarQuest won't let you down. So for the best possible performance, install what the pros install. CarQuest. Welcome to the pros.
Bob, it's me. You want a new truck, right? Well, GMC is having a model year-end clearance. Turn on your TV. The commercial is on right now. What do you mean you lost your remote? Okay, well, there's savings on GMC Sierras. That's a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. So is the Sonoma. I'm reading the TV screen here. You can get end-of-model year dealer discounts or up to $1,000 cash back. Are you going? You better hurry. You lost your keys. Well, yeah, I'll give you a ride. The commercial's ending now anyway.
Good evening, I'm Michelle Gary. Even though ATR planes have problems flying in icy weather, they could be flying again in Michiana. More tonight after Monday Night Football.
Television Michiana, 28 WSJV.
Well, the word from the Cowboy sideline has confirmed that it is a pulled left hamstring for Emmitt Smith. Obviously, he will not play anymore tonight, and his left leg will be the source of much conversation, angst, and anguish in Dallas for, I think, a while to come.
Here is Kevin Williams up to the 46-yard line. He may begin rehab within the hour.
And for the balance of this game, as far as the Cowboys are concerned, there is no way that that is not a tremendous distraction. Every guy on this football team right now is trying to do a job, but at the same time wondering about Emmitt.
Interesting, Blair Thomas, who came in, was taken in the first round the same year as Emmitt Smith, taken way ahead of him in the draft. He was the 3rd player picked by the Jets, and he went up. They released him a year ago. He went up to New England. They released him in October, and the Dallas Cowboys signed him November 23rd.
2nd and 3, and they give it to Thomas. He takes it to the 49-yard line. If there's any encouraging news or good news for the Cowboys in this regard, and we're not going to speculate as to the length of Smith's
I want to hear
absence.
this.
Well, no, what I'm saying is at least next week is a game that doesn't mean anything for Dallas. The following week is a week off. The following week they are at home and not playing the 49ers. So it would be almost 4 weeks before Emmett would have to play against the 49ers.
And last year he returned after what, 2 weeks?
Well, we all know.
He came back from the pulled hamstring.
We all know how Emmitt Smith can play with pain. But a hamstring is different than a shoulder.
1st and 10 at the 50-yard line as Aikman retreats. Throws to Irvin. 1st down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
And Michael's not exactly looking real game right now, is he?
Gary Jones walking the sidelines, came down to check on Emmitt Smith, I'm sure. But I'll tell you, Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin right in sync on that play. Instead of coming trying to throw a block for Aikman, he just knew that he was going to be released. And Aikman was reading it with him. Good play by both of them.
There's Jerry going over to the cart that has Emmitt Smith. Al, your point is valid about it is 3 weeks until they play that first playoff game. But even though it is at home, that's the game you got to look at instead of the 49er game.
Aikman throws to Irvin, and that's a 1st down. Vinnie Clark.
Now that's more Aikman too than we've seen tonight.
Well, the Cowboys have proven they can win without Aikman. They've done it with Jason Garrett. They've done it with Rodney Peete.
I know where you're headed.
Here's the guy they've not proven they can win without.
Well, the 2 games he didn't play last year, they lost both of them. The first 2 games of the season.
And that was when he had the hamstring and came back in the 3rd week.
Here is the heart and soul of the Dallas Cowboys going off on a cart.
1st and 10 at the 16. Blair Thomas. And just to follow up, we started the discussion earlier in the 3rd quarter. Coaches are put in a quandary in situations like this. I mean, George Seifert's in the same position next week against Minnesota. How much does Steve Young play? How much does Ricky Waters play? How much does Jerry Rice play in a game that means nothing to San Francisco and could mean a heck of a lot to Minnesota, Chicago, Detroit, Green Bay, and others?
I think you have, when you are playing a game where the outcome of that game impacts other people in the league and other teams, I think you have a moral obligation to try to compete in that football game.
2nd and 10, and off the fingertips of Darryl Johnston. The obligation is there. The question is how much do those guys play? That's the question.
All kinds of things enter into it. So you're talking about incentive on part of some of the players involved in it.
Valid point.
It's a lot enters into it. I think as a coach, you play a game to win a football game. You don't play somebody that's hurt. You don't play somebody who's got a nick. You can not do that at that particular point.
Well, I think coaches will tell you that they can't become distracted thinking about your people out there getting hurt.
And nor should they.
3rd down and 10 at the 16-yard line. And timeout is taken. 11:37 remaining in regulation. The Cowboys leading the Saints by 8.
It's about change. About breaking rules. And making new rules. About building machines more in harmony with humanity. It's about questioning everything. It's about change. The new Dodge.
ACG means all conditions gear. And all conditions means all conditions.
Now kids can power up at McDonald's. Because right now, they can get a Power Rangers Power Coin free when you buy something to eat. 13 coins in all. So power up at McDonald's today.
Brad's got holiday plans.
Do you feel the love in this room?
A lot of people I like are going to be down there.
Christmas is not about being with people you like.
Home Improvement Tuesday on ABC.
It's interesting, I think, how this Superdome crowd, which obviously the vast majority of them are pro Saints, have been subdued. Even they realize the magnitude of what happened when Emmitt Smith got carried off the football field. They're starting to get back into it, but boy, it was quiet here for a long time.
3rd down and 10 at the 16-yard line. Aikman throws low, intended for Novacek. Who says, where's the flag? And here it comes.
Came in way late.
Well, he almost got tackled.
Holding. Defense, number 33. 5 yards. First down.
Tyrone Hughes, the return specialist.
I think Novacek changed directions on Tyrone a little quickly, and he didn't know what to do other than just try to hog tie him.
Said earlier that Blair Thomas was taken in the third player in the 90 draft. It's the second player, actually, even one higher than I said.
And the only guy taken in front of him was Jeff George by Indianapolis that year. And this is Thomas going nowhere. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Now, Thomas was picked up because Lincoln Coleman had been the backup running back, but just wasn't really doing the job. So there he is. He's not hurt, but he's inactive. So he's in civvies tonight, but he figures to be wearing a regular Cowboys shirt next Saturday at the Meadowlands.
A year ago last Thanksgiving, with Emmitt Thomas out with a pulled hamstring, that Coleman had that tremendous game against the Miami Dolphins.
On 2nd and 11. Moose Johnston takes it to the 3-yard line. Tackled by Vinnie Clark.
If you want to get in a fight in the alley, wouldn't you like to have him on your side?
Oh, you better believe
it. Tough guy.
Big. You're looking at a guy 6'2", 242 pounds. 25 years ago, Darrell Johnston would have been a guard in the National Football League.
And a big one.
And a good size one, you're right. Now he's a fullback.
12th play of the drive, 3rd down and 2. Little a tight formation with Novacek in motion. And toss it back to Blair Thomas. Close to a 1st down. Winfred Tubbs knocks him down at about the 2.5.
Thomas came up in 90. We said he had 620 yards with the Jets as a rookie, and then 91 over 700 yards. Hurt his knee in 92 and struggled through last year. Released, signed by New England, and had 19 attempts this year for 67 yards in New England before Bill Parcells said that's it.
It's 4th down and inches, and the reason they're going to kick the field goal here is you might as well, with an 8-point lead and the new rule this year, tack on the 3 to take them out of touchdown and conversion range, and thus it's a 20-yard field goal that is blocked. And they're still down by 8 are the Saints. Chris Bonio sees his 20-yarder rejected.
Well, it was because of penetration. It wasn't a low kick. The Saints did a good job of driving in there, getting the penetration. Joe Johnson, the rookie, comes up with a big block.
You can tell a lot about a man by his shaver. The man who uses a bra and flex control appreciates good looks, has the flexibility to adjust to any situation, and he's not afraid to get close. But the most revealing thing about a man who uses a bra is how easy it is to spot him.
I believe this is yours.
Braun, the world's most recognized shave.
There's only one beer with pure refreshment written all over it.
unfiltered Miller Genuine Draft and MGD Light. Why so many people are getting out of the oleum and into the cold.
Today, along with Eagle Vision, we're here with baseball umpire Bill Morgan. What do you think?
I like Vision's aggressive styling. Got a nice wide stance, too.
Yeah, you want to take it for a test drive? You get a little extra time on your hands.
I'll say.
What's the call on the Vision?
Yeah, the 24 valve V6 really hustles. I like the looks of $1,100 off, too.
Yeah, you look good behind the wheel.
Thanks. Green's my favorite color.
It's black, Bill.
Oh, yeah. So it is.
The night after Christmas, one more present to go. The Vikings meet the Niners, the season's last show.
Well, Joe Johnson gets the block. He and Frank Warren just did an excellent job of blowing back the right side of the Cowboys line. There's Larry Allen, who was in at the right guard position. He gave up the most ground, and Johnson, after being 2 yards in there, got the hand up and blocked.
Saints down by 8. They fake the end around, and then it's intercepted after the deflection. Darren Smith runs it in for the touchdown. Woo. Off the hands of Derek Brown right there, number 21, and into the hands of Darren Smith.
Well, a whole lot of faking. They faked the end around, and then we're just going to throw a one-blocker screen to Brown, and geez.
I don't understand quite the faking. You don't fake a reverse. You don't run a reverse down in this part of the field inside your own 10-yard line, so why even bother faking it? And with his back to the secondary, and that was just mishandled by Derek Brown, and a good heads-up play by Darren Smith.
Thing just hopped right to him.
Boniol for the point after. Cowboys have run 2 interceptions back for touchdowns tonight. Tolbert in the first, Smith here in the fourth. 24-9 Cowboys.
Right now, when you take the Eagle test drive, you can get an incredible deal, and here to tell you more about it, I guess they're supplying me with my own stunt double. Okay.
Hi, I'm Greg. Right now, you can lease an Eagle Vision with a powerful V6, cab forward design, 4-wheel disc brakes, and dual airbags at a great lease price. But hurry, deals like this won't last for long.
Cut. Look at this picture. The hair, it's frosted. I'm not frosted. Got to be lighter, sandy, something like that.
One day, Dan Brooks was walking down the street, minding his own business. What he didn't realize is that he was about to bump into a beautiful woman. The woman who would have his 3 children. The woman who would graduate law school and go on to become a successful politician. The woman who would change his life forever. But rather than insisting on a Seiko, Dan settled for an ordinary watch. And unfortunately, Dan was running 1 second late. Seiko, built for life.
You know, an apple sitting around too long, it goes bad. It's the same thing with a new battery. It loses power waiting to be bought. That's why at Interstate, we're constantly checking our batteries to make sure they're fresh, so that you don't end up with a bad apple.
Now kids can power up at McDonald's, because right now they can get a Power Rangers Power Coin free when you buy something to eat. 13 coins in all. So power up at McDonald's today.
Spend the holidays with the 15th Precinct.
How come I gotta be Santa Claus?
No offense, but you're the fattest guy in the squad.
NYPD Blue, Tuesday. Viewer discretion advised.
The Superdome in New Orleans. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dieroff, Lynn Swan with you. The next to last weekend of the regular season culminating here. The Dallas Cowboys lead by 15. Jim Everett has watched 2 of his passes intercepted tonight and run back for touchdowns. And this is Tyrone Hughes running back this kick to the 36-yard line. And Tyrone Hughes just establishes a new NFL record for most kickoff returns in a season. 61. 9:06 left in regulation. Dallas 24, New Orleans 9. That one should have been caught by Derek Brown.
Joe. Oh, this guy amazing, chump, man. I can take this guy with one hand tied behind my back. Go for it.
Miller Lite presents Hurricane Hughes versus Business? What's your name?
Joe, but I'm gonna still trick you.
Miller Lite! You can expect great things with a great taste that's never watered down.
Guys, bullfighter. Yeah.
Miller Lite. Can your beer do this?
Just a whistle stop from Cincinnati. There's a place you can still hear the clickety-clack of the old Wabash Cannonball. Or catch the Golden Arrow to Calais, all in the same room. It's the Garden Railway Company, a favorite destination for train buffs the world over. But if you go, bring your love of the steel wheels and your Visa card. Because at Garden Railway, you can buy the Orient Express. But you can't buy anything with American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
The Kelly Tires Blue-Gray All-Star Game comes your way on ABC Sunday. That's Christmas Day at noon Eastern Time and 9 a.m. Pacific. And the Jeep Eagle Aloha Bowl from Honolulu, the site of the Pro Bowl, will come your way. Boston College and Kansas State following the Blue-Gray game. That's a great sign.
You can pull
It's
back.
informative.
Pull back and see the people that have made that sign. You can see they're not holding out much hope.
Yeah, they want Tampa to beat Green Bay, Arizona lose to Atlanta, the Cowboys to beat the Giants.
I think it's the last line that's causing them a problem.
Saints beating Dallas and Denver. All those things happen. Then the Saints go to the playoffs. But right now,
unfortunately,
not very likely.
The Saints are going to have to pull a very large rabbit out of their hat.
Yep.
Down 24-9 with 9:06 left to go in the game.
First down the Saints at the 36-yard line. Everett throws, catch is made, and early rolls out of bounds up at the 47. Next Monday we go to the Metrodome in Minneapolis for a game that figures to have a tremendous amount of significance. I say figures because certain things have to take place on Saturday and Sunday, with Detroit and Green Bay and Chicago figuring into that whole mix. 49ers Vikings, one thing for certain, the Vikings with a victory in that game would win the Central Division and host a first-round game. There's also a scenario in which the Vikings would even have to win that game to get into the playoffs.
Exactly right.
Everett throws, and it's Michael Haynes who's rolled out of bounds at the 40. So it's a good way for us to wind up our 25th season of Monday Night Football, regular season version. We'll have a wild card game for you, in fact, both on the 31st of December and then the Super Bowl on the 29th of January.
Down 24-9, the Saints are going to have be able to complete a lot of these 8- and 9-yarders. Cowboys are not going to let anyone behind them.
That's knocked down. Nice play, and the crowd wants a flag and doesn't get it as Robert Jones swats it down.
Well, has he grown up? First-round pick in '92, and Jimmy Johnson kind of gave up on him and didn't think much of him as a middle linebacker. And of course, he has done a fine job this year coming back as a starter out of East Carolina. Part of those quick 3 linebackers that they open with in their 4-3.
They sat him down last year, and to compensate for that, they slid Ken Norton Jr. over from the weak side linebacker, put him in the middle. He stayed there all year, and Robert rode the bench. Then when Norton went to San Francisco, Barry made the move and put him back inside. It paid off.
And 2nd and 10, Torrance Small makes the catch at the 36-yard line. Tackled by Clayton Holmes. 3rd down and 6.
Different Dallas defense. I mean, they're still quick and all that, but they can't alternate like they did a year ago when Tony Casillas would come in and Jimmy Jones would come in. They really only have Chad Hennings to work in the middle of that line, and they get a little more tired in the 4th quarter.
And this is Derek Brown taking it to the 31. It'll be 4th and 2. And let's get an update on Emmitt Smith and check in with Lynn Swan. What do you know, Lynn?
Well, Al, the doctor wouldn't give a prognosis as to the severity of the hamstring injury, but the trainer said they're going to start treatment immediately. I also found out that against Washington on October 2nd, he pulled a hamstring, his right hamstring. When he came back, he had 9 carries for 22 yards, but the second week, Al, he came back 26 carries, 106 yards, and a touchdown. So apparently Emmitt could be a fast healer.
Cowboys sure hope so, as Derek Brown keeps the drive going on a 4th and short, taking it to the 27. And if you just pick this up a little bit late, the injury to Emmitt Smith occurred on this play.
Right there, when he planted the left foot, he popped it and immediately went down.
was as bad as when he left the field. He was practically carried off the field. He couldn't put any weight on it at all.
Everett hitting Derek Brown. He's tackled by Darren Smith. Clock ticks down to 7 minutes to play.
Now, I'm going to speculate here that when Emmett injured his hamstring before, it was not as severe a pull as that one right there. And I think
I would have to agree.
Swanee's point is valid, but that right there in our observation of watching Emmett on the ground and then the way he had to leave the field, that's a bad one.
On 2nd and 9, Torrance Small makes the catch over the middle and takes it down to the 8-yard line. Tackled by Washington. It's going to be 1st and goal.
You know, I've missed time myself with pulled hamstrings. I think Lynn has, as a matter of fact, and I've never had one like that, and that's one of the worst I've seen. Usually you can get off the field at least.
I agree. I've hurt mine before too and missed a little time, but no, not to where I had to be helped off the field like that.
On 1st and goal, this is Haynes, and he's out of bounds at the 4. Meanwhile, the Saints, trying to keep their very flickering and faint playoff hopes alive, are marching down where if they can score here, they, even with a single-point conversion, would still be within 8.
Good catch, backhand. About the only way you can catch that ball is backhanded. I talked about it earlier. That means the right hand over comes across in front of your face. Receiver coaches will tell you not to catch that way, but something like that, you've got to catch it that way.
2nd down and goal. The inside handoff goes to Derek Brown. Brown fighting his way in for the touchdown.
All of a sudden, we got a game here.
Yep. Derek Brown, he battled and scrapped his way in there. He was the one that caught the last interception.
They got to go for 2 either on this one or the next one.
Right, 24-15. They're down by 9. Yeah. At some point, they got to kick it here and then go for 2 after what they hope is another touchdown, obviously.
Look at this. This is a good battle put on by Derek Brown. The 3rd down back used on short yardage in this drive. Got to feel bad about that interception that Jim Eppert suffered on a pass that he should have caught.
Here's Morton Anderson for the point after.
And that's really a smart play by the Saints to kick the extra point here, because if you would try for 2 here and fail, then that leaves you 9 points behind, which translates into 2 scores. So you've got to kick the extra point and then hope you can convert the 2 next time to tie the ball game and send it into overtime.
And you'd be pretty emotionally deflated too after moving down the field.
Yeah.
Saints with 3 timeouts. The job for the Cowboys is to control the ball, and you wouldn't be terribly concerned if Emmitt Smith was the guy that was controlling it.
You could say, why not go for 2 twice after both your scores and go for the win? That's really the low percentage play. I think that's a smart call there by the Saints and Jim Mora.
So Aikman and the Cowboys will get it back, barring an onside kick. But a couple of minutes ago, the odds would have been about 100-1 that the Saints could make it into the playoffs. It might be only slightly better right now. A lot of things. The only guy I know who can beat 100-1 odds is Robert Redbone. You know who I'm talking about?
Yes, I know.
The old Arkansas commodities trader?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. No wonder your mantle has so much hardware on it. Tom Benson, the auto magnate who is the owner of the New Orleans Saints, and laughing wildly at Al Michaels.
Tom Benson is? Morton Anderson sends it down to the 1-yard line where it is dropped by Kevin Williams. And he brings it back to the 13. Through flag down. Joel Smingy made the hit.
Ooh, this will back Dallas up even more.
Ooh, this is getting serious if you're a Dallas Cowboy.
Kenny Wolf, our illustrious producer.
89 for the kicking team. Illegal block. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
Craig Janoff, our director, are going to give us a look-see here. If we can see Scott Galbraith, his illegal block. There it is.
Right in the back.
Yep. Right in the back of Darryl Mitchell. Backup wide receiver.
1st and 10 at the 6-yard line.
And it will be noisy for the Dallas Cowboys. Whatever they plan on calling, they better call it in the huddle. No changes at the line of scrimmage for Troy Aikman.
Aikman dumps it underneath to Johnston and moves his tackle to the 9 by Lumpkin.
3 at the most.
Again, deep in their own territory, backed up. The Cowboys pass the ball on 1st down. Really a high percentage play. It's a good call. Ernie Zampese going to the air on 1st down. Everybody's thinking run. It's a good, smart call, and it, of course, is aided by the fact that he's got a quarterback like Troy Aikman pulling the trigger.
2nd and 6. At the 10. Aikman short underneath, catch is made. Novacek at the 12-yard line. 3rd and 4. Vince Buck.
Same principle, though. High percentage stuff, and you get it to another receiver, Jay Novacek, who can ordinarily run the football well. He was covered well, and now we're in a pass situation again. 3rd down and a long 3. Let's make it 4. Let's put it up in the air time.
Clock ticking, 4:10 left in the 4th. Aikman to Johnston, but he's tackled. A great tackle by Sam Mills to prevent a 1st down.
Blitz time for New Orleans. It was a good call. What they call their blitz zone. And Tyrone Leggett has been effective tonight. Came in from the left side, forced Aikman out of the pocket. He was off balance. Had to get rid of it, or he would have been sacked back around the 2 or 3 yard line.
What an excellent series for the Saints defensively. Here's a look at it, and another look at Sam Mills, who has just played an outstanding football game tonight in the middle for the Saints. 35 years old, 5'9", and still an all-star.
Jets kick off the side of his foot, but it takes a good Dallas bounce. Hughes at the 40 brings it back to the 45-yard line. Only Jets' 2nd punt of the night. So the New Orleans Saints down by 8. Weirder things have happened. If the Saints can somehow pull this one off.
Even though they went up
the things they need, I'm not saying all of them are likely to happen next weekend, but not impossible.
You know, that was almost a lethargic series on the part of the Cowboys. There was no feeling about it. They weren't driving up to the line of scrimmage. They came out of kind of lackadaisical from the huddle. I don't know, it just didn't have the fire you should have had at that point.
But if New Orleans should score here, it'll be an exciting 2-point conversion. We haven't had one all season long, I don't think, at this stage of the ballgame on Monday night. That end zone, though, is a long ways away.
From the 45, here's Everett throwing. Haynes makes the catch, steps out of bounds at the 43-yard line.
It's a little closer.
It's the same way the New Orleans Saints took their last drive down to score. Using the sidelines, the Cowboys letting them do it, giving it up in front of him. That was Kevin Smith giving up the yardage.
And Frank, you made the point about the loss of Casillas and Jones have made it much more difficult to substitute on the Cowboy front 4. They do not look as lively as they did at the start of this ball game.
Everett throws it out of bounds. Haynes, great coverage that time. Hanging with him step for step. Darren Woodson.
Good protection that time by the Saints up front. And
Kevin Smith with the coverage here.
Michael Haynes. Big play receiver, but you cannot cover anybody any better than Kevin Smith just did it right there.
I got a question. I just wonder where Charles Haley is. I mean, he's not in there, and this is when you want to put pressure on Everett. He's the missing man.
2nd and 10. Everett throws, and that's batted away at the last moment by Clayton Holmes.
They got a pass rush that time by Jeffcoat. Jim Jeffcoat comes around the corner and puts a hit on Jim Everett. Jeffcoat's a guy who's been doing it forever. Just a finger on it by Holmes.
Charles Haley standing on the sidelines. Well, he may be
healthy. He may be a byproduct of Emmitt Smith getting hurt.
Haley looks on. 3rd down and 10. Everett throws, and it's picked off at the 20-yard line. Darren Smith, who picked off the last one and ran it in for a touchdown.
Well, Jim Everett looks downfield, and once again, Darren Smith was open. Boy, Jim really
forced that pass.
He did.
The interceptions tonight have been killers.
Cowboys sitting back in their 2-deep zone and getting the underneath men. Again, we talked about their speed. We've talked about it all night. Their linebackers, Darren Smith, Dixon Edwards. And this time, Darren Smith using that speed to step in front of the intended receiver, Wesley Walls,
who did not appear to be open at all. I mean, that's just an excellent coverage there by Smith. At no point in time did it appear that Wesley Walls was open.
Johnston for 3, and the Saints have to take a timeout.
They'll have 2 left plus the 2-minute warning. So if Dallas doesn't get a first down, the Saints will get the ball again.
But as you look at Jim Everett, 3 interceptions tonight, 2 of them run back for touchdowns, and this one ends what could have been a game-tying drive.
Yep. He's had such a fine year into tonight. Not a good night.
And Jim Everett, by the way, for those of you who don't live here in New Orleans and don't follow the Saints on a weekly basis, will be the quarterback of the Saints for some time to come. Jim Mora is extremely pleased with the year he's gotten from Jim Everett. He's provided a great deal of stability. Every offensive starter on this ball club is signed and will be back next year.
And they're happy with him.
Yep. There are some backups. That's Wade Wilson, Doug Nussmeier. So this is an offensive team that is set. They've got 3 free agents defensively that Jim would like to have back. He'd like to get Darian Connor, Sam Mills, and Vinnie Clark, 3 of his people signed and back in the fold for next year.
I mean, he's going to be sniffing around the free agency market for a defensive lineman, maybe a couple of defensive linemen, and a couple of defensive backs. That's what he feels he needs.
2nd and 7 up at the 25-yard line.
There wasn't contact before that?
So the play counts. That's what they're saying. Blair Thomas picks up 4 out to the 29-yard line.
Offside. Defense, number 91. 5 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
Well, where a first down kills you, giving them 5 yards the easy way is painful.
It'll be
Saints
2nd.
have 2 timeouts remaining. 2.
The scoreboard is indicating 3. Dale Hamer telling the folks in attendance here, don't pay attention to that. They've just now knocked it down 1 to 2.
2nd down and a yard and a half. Short 2 at the 30-yard line. That much time left in regulation. Cowboys leading 24-16. Blair Thomas gets stopped at the line of scrimmage, and here's a timeout now taken by the Saints. They have 1 remaining.
I don't mean to demean Blair Thomas, but you just look at Emmitt Smith and the same kind of a carry, and somehow or other he kind of bounces off, or he just bowls over somebody, and he's going to be a lot closer to a first down than Blair Thomas was on that play.
Well, with Emmitt Smith gone, the other thing, just as an asterisk, John Riggins' record is no longer in jeopardy with the 24 touchdowns. Emmitt will wind up the season with 22 because you can count on him not playing next week, obviously. And as we mentioned, the Cowboys will then have a week off. Their next game will come either on the 7th or 8th of January in Irving, Texas. And then if they are to meet the 49ers for the NFC Championship, that will take place at Candlestick Park on the 15th of January. And, you know, we're assuming that San Francisco wins its game on the weekend of the 7th. If they somehow were upset the Cowboys could host the NFC Championship game. They are the #2 seed in effect.
Stranger things have happened.
They sure have.
Although I'm trying to remember when.
3rd and 1. And this is Tommy Agee, the backup fullback, who vaults for a first down, and that's a big first down because that's going to just about end it for the Saints in terms of time remaining. Barry Switzer now can afford a smile, but it's kind of an empty smile on a night like tonight. They're going to win the game in all likelihood, but what about Emmett?
Cowboys don't have to run a play until we get down to the 2-minute warning. The Saints will then still have 1 timeout left. They'll be able to stop the clock after the first play by the Cowboys. But these are going to be ticklish times in Dallas, as all eyes will be cast upon the left hamstring of Emmitt Smith.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
Makes the catch. Touchdown. He's gone. Touchdown.
It is.
Yes, he held on the ball. He's going to go. All the way to it. He's going on. Pass caught by Clark. Clark got a touchdown. The greatest season in NFL history.
In their 75th anniversary season, NFL owners and players have a message for all football fans.
Remaining, and the Cowboys lead it by a score of 24-16. A good time
to tell everybody a Merry Christmas out.
Yes, you think? Merry Christmas.
Won't see them till after the Christmas holiday.
Talk to you on the 26th. Saints, meanwhile, in 2 more minutes of play, will be eliminated from playoff contention. It's a small point at this point, but the Saints really should have called a timeout before that 2-minute warning. Then it would have been 2nd down here. Instead, it's 1st down, and they have 1 more timeout remaining. But the way this one is going, it's pretty much a moot point as Moose Johnston takes it up to the 37.
You know, just thinking at 6 and 9, they should be eliminated from the playoffs.
Well, at 8 and 8, you shouldn't go to the playoffs anyway, but a couple of teams have in the past. One of them was the Saints in '90 and the Jets in '91. But when you have 12 of your 28 teams going into the playoffs, it's going to happen from time to time that a 500 team gets in. And one year, in fact, wasn't it the Cowboys that almost made it in with a 7-9 record?
Frankly, people love it.
And conversely, how about teams who've been 10-6 and not made it
like
in?
the 49ers a couple of years back.
This is the crack crew that gets it done.
Ken Wolf, our producer, and Craig Janoff, our illustrious director. The great Joe Chavo. He's been here for all of those 25 years. Ben Harvey, the associate producer. Jaime Bravo, the great Jaime. Bob Simon, our production manager. Dennis Zabo and Jim Licata handling the tech operations.
I'll pass these two up.
Fred King, Emeritus.
That's the Jabloni area.
Steve Hurt, our director of information. Andrea Bryan up here keeping the kennel under control. Our statistician, George Hill of Puyallup. And our spotter, Malibu, Kelly Hayes. Straight from the bayou. 2nd down and 5 from the 38-yard line.
Gordo and Freddie, we couldn't do it without them.
Yep.
That's the truth.
Well, maybe we
flag that.
We've tried. It'd be rough.
Offside. Defense number 73. 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
And our other components, Mark Amento, Brian Mobilson, Bill Monahan. We thank the gang and wish everybody from all of us who bring you Monday Night Football week after week, a very Merry Christmas.
We need to have been to the fans of Monday Night Football. They've been great this year. The numbers and some of the games we've had, not the wildly attractive ones we've had, but they've stuck with us. We've had good numbers, and we thank you and wish you a Merry Christmas.
Well, we sure do.
Happy holidays, everybody.
2nd and short. Moose picks up a first down. Well, the Cowboys will go to 12-3. They play the Giants next week at the Meadowlands. It's a key game. The Giants have a chance to get in. I think many of you know the Giants, with a win, need a Tampa Bay victory over Green Bay in conjunction with their win to make it into the playoffs.
While some kids will have visions of sugar plums dancing in their head, I'll have visions of Larry Allen streaking down the side.
Dan Reeves had that great quote that we didn't have that 7-game losing streak, we'd be undefeated.
That's a good line. Amazing season for the Giants. So the game will end with a couple of kneel downs here. And the Dallas Cowboys will wrap it up at the Meadowlands, take the week off, go into the playoffs. The Saints will go to Denver next week in what will be a meaningless regular season finale. We'll be in Minnesota, and in all likelihood, as I say, that's going to be a vitally important game, not only for the Vikings, but conceivably for Chicago, for Detroit, for Green Bay. A lot of playoff pairings could be determined with the outcome of that one.
What a wild year, and what a great year for the fans. Say what you want about parity, and you know the elitists, I guess they're going to knock it and quack it, but it sure has created the fan interest.
There's Larry Allen, Olympic sprinter. Jim Everett saw those 3 interceptions come back to haunt him and really kill the Saints' hopes tonight as the Dallas Cowboys knock off the New Orleans Saints. Jerry Jones going back to check on Emmitt Smith. The final score is Dallas 24 and New Orleans 16. And we will visit with you next from the Metrodome in Minneapolis next Monday night. The San Francisco 49ers and the Minnesota Vikings. Until then, Al Michael, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf, Lynn Swan. Good night from New Orleans.
In the next to last Monday Night Football game of the season, the Cowboys can either improve or deteriorate their playoff position. But how they played in their final 2 games has a profound impact on many others. Most immediately, the Saints. Their dim dreams depended on defeating Dallas, and they were double-figure underdogs in the Dome. But they played well against the Cowboys there. Leon Letts saying no way, but Everett knows that they've beaten them twice in the Dome. He wasn't around for those, but he was driving them most of the length of the field when he makes the mistake. Tony Tolbert couldn't believe what he threw to him. Then he's off and running. Big block on Everett here, and Tolbert goes 54 yards, his first career interception, first career touchdown. Cowboys lead 7-0 going to the second quarter now. Mario Bates will bust one, bursting through a huge hole in that Cowboy D, a 40-yard spurt. But Morton Anderson missed the field goal. They're still getting shut out, 2nd and 9. Troy Aikman drops back, short drop, tip, picked. Darian Connor off the Wayne Martin hand, and Connor looking end zone, except for him. 315-pound Larry Allen saving the touchdown, but Aikman makes another mistake. This time it's Jimmy Spencer. After they settled for an Anderson field goal, that should have been the go-ahead touchdown. He was called out of bounds. There? I don't think so, but that's what they called, and they had to settle for the field goal. 7-6. Take it to the second half. Cowboys get a field goal of their own. They're up 10-6. Then Emmett will bust one. Into the end zone, caps a 74-yard drive with his 22nd touchdown of the year. Next possession, though, his hamstring just pops out and his feet come out from under him. The last thing the Cowboys wanted to see when they were coasting into the playoffs. Emmett leaves with a left hamstring pull, obviously in pain, gets the pat in the back from Jerry Jones, but he's out of the game. So the Saints have new life. Double play fake, but Everett's ball bounces off Derek Brown. Darren Smith goes in. Mistakes for both quarterbacks really cost them. The Cowboys D stepping it up, and Everett had one last chance to rally. He's down 24-16. A touchdown and a 2-pointer will do it, but Darren Smith picks him off again. The first 2 interceptions and first touchdown of Darren Smith's career. A mistake-prone game for Everett, who never got in the end zone, was picked 3 times, 18 of 32 for 162 yards. Aikman wasn't much better, although he was accurate, 21 of 28. A couple of his balls ended up in Saints' hands. Morris' first losing season is now assured since the mid-'80s as the Saints are knocked out of the playoffs. Dallas now 13-2 in December the past 4 years. As for Emmett, he was just 2 shy of the all-time single-season touchdown record when he went in the 3rd quarter. He's going to be very questionable for their final game of the season, and he probably will not catch John Riggins. Cowboys offensive tackle Eric Williams wasn't with the team in New Orleans. He was in a Dallas courtroom pleading no contest to driving while intoxicated charges in exchange for closing the case against him. Williams was sentenced to 2 years probation and community service in connection with a one-car accident which also cost him the season with torn knee ligaments. Dan?
Dan Marino may need a second operation to repair his right Achilles tendon. Marino says the tendon hasn't fully recovered since being torn last October. Marino says he'll have doctors examine him after the season and let them decide on further surgery. Next season could begin as early as this weekend for the Colts. Out of the running for a playoff berth, head coach Ted Marchibroda may start Browning Nagel at quarterback in the final game of the season. The Colts finish up their season at home on Saturday against the Bills. Nagel backed up Boomer last year. Boomer suffered a concussion on this hit by Junior Seau. Esiason will be held out of practice. He's listed as day-to-day, should be ready to play on Saturday. An MRI taken today revealed a sprained ligament in Warren Moon's knee. The extent of the damage won't be known until Thursday. Moon's backup Brad Johnson has thrown just 37 career passes. Sterling Sharp has put up with nagging injuries all season long. He's got another one, a stinger. Today's MRI was negative. He should be ready to go when the Pack visit Tampa Bay. Jeff George, 22 touchdown passes, a career high. He'll get a chance to add to that total this week, but he'll be playing with a broken finger on his left hand. George will be fitted with a playing cast. We stay in the QB ranks. Jay Schrader missed the second half of yesterday's win over the Bengals with a sore knee. That was just a precautionary move. Schrader is expected to play on Saturday against Atlanta. Elsewhere on the Hurts list, the Eagles' Charlie Garner and the Bills' Steve Tasker will not play again this season. Garner had surgery Monday on his ruptured knee tendon. Tasker has a broken arm. Other football news, ESPN Radio's John Clayton reported in Monday's Tacoma News-Tribune that Tom Flores will not return as Seattle's head coach next season. Flores' contract, believed to be 5 years, gives the Seahawks an out after the 3rd season, which is this season. Flores' comment on the report was he doesn't know where the rumors are coming from. John Clayton also reported that owner Ken Behring has met with Bill Walsh and is considering him for a high-level position in the Seattle Seahawks organization. Gary?
One day after being eliminated from the playoffs, the Broncos are looking to the future. Team owner Pat Bowlen will present a prospectus for a new $200 million stadium by the year 2000 in Denver. But the public task force there he's trying to convince is prepared to spend $48 million over the next 13 years to improve their current home, Mile High Stadium. The Christmas presents just keep pouring in for Pittsburgh. The Steelers cinching home field throughout the playoffs on Sunday against Cleveland, so they get a Christmas Eve trip to San Diego Saturday without really having to work. And if all these signs weren't enough, check out who dropped in on Bill Cowher Monday afternoon.
I just went to Cleveland. Those suckers threw dog bones at me. Hey! Give Santa a hug, bro. Oh, Santa's butt's sore. From Mrs. Claus, a big kiss. She said for me to give you one, but you're a little bit ugly. From Jimmy Johnson, for when you go to the Super Bowl and all those TV cameras, hairspray. This is from Jerry Jones and the boys. This is what they want for Christmas. They want you!
Santa was actually Steelers PA announcer Bill DeFabio, who returned with that cutout of Troy Aikman carrying the Steeler team picture. Cowher would love that to be his New Year's resolution, beating the NFC in the Super Bowl. The reference to Jimmy Johnson's hairspray was pointed. The Fox announcer is the one who suggests that the Steeler D is more gimmickry than strength.
He made his NFL debut against the Saints and lost 28-0. Troy Aikman said it felt more like 85-0. We'll break down Troy's performance tonight in the Superdome. Not a super performance, but it was a victory. And if you missed anything, if you're just tuning over from the game, we'll get you caught up on all the NBA, including the Bullets, playing tough against the Suns without Weber.
And remember, you're playing for Bud Light, ladies. The boys are back in town.
These guys are good. Who are you calling guys? Yeah.
Looks like you're in the finals.
ma'am. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
You're the defending ladies pool champion? Yes, I am. You know what I hate, man? When you go to see the big gold Buddha, and you pick the leaf with the virus on it.
Soon the world will be divided into two groups.
Infected oak brain.
What?
Those who've experienced Burn Cycle, the ultimate cinematic adventure game.
Must be one hell of a virus.
And those who think the first group is just strange. Burn Cycle, it's not just a game, it's an infection. Only on CDI. Now get Burn Cycle free when you get into CDI.
Introducing Ford Contour. Gold, a world car for the 21st century. Result, world-class technology in 2 all-new engines, including a 24-valve V6 that runs 100,000 miles between recommended tune-ups. Outstanding safety features from dual airbags to a steel safety shell, even a filtration system that removes virtually all dust and pollen from the air. The totally new Ford Contour, a world car for the 21st century.
Thursday, Arizona takes on Syracuse, only on ESPN.
Friday night, pull up a ringside seat. First, Super Bouts, Hagler's Knockouts. Then Tony versus Jones for the IBF Super Middleweight Championship. There's always great boxing on ESPN.
Will Barry reach 2,000? Will Detroit make the playoffs? Will the Dolphins win the division? Will Don Shula become the winningest regular season coach in history? Will you watch, please?
Many of you watched the Cowboys and Saints tonight in New Orleans, giving them everything they could, but too many mistakes cost the Saints a chance, and they lost at 24-16. Our Pam Oliver was in the Superdome. She caught up with Michael Irvin after the game. Pam?
What you know about Emmett? I know you guys are good friends. You're very concerned about him at this point?
Yeah, I'm definitely concerned. I mean, concerned about his health, period. You know, we're fortunate enough right now, we accomplished what we set out to accomplish. I mean, we got the first week bye. We got a couple weeks, and you know, hopefully he just get healthy and be ready if that's the thing. And I'll go in and talk with him. They said maybe it's not as bad as everybody think, and hopefully that's the situation.
The season winds down. You guys are going into the playoffs. You don't want to lose a starter like this, but at the same time, you're still trying to win games.
Yeah, we don't want to lose anybody. Starters, backups, anybody. Everybody's very important. Everybody's role is very important. In the last couple of years, that's the thing that got us over the hump. Everybody understand their role. And I don't need to say how important Emmett is and how big his role is.
Finally, are you satisfied with the way the offense has been running? Are you satisfied with the game tonight?
No, I'm not satisfied, but not just me. I'm sure to the man in that locker room we're not satisfied. No, we still got a lot of guys banged up, and everybody's pulling in and doing whatever it takes to win ball games. And that's the key. You know, sometimes we may not look as good as we like to look, but as long as we win the ball game, that's the key.
Michael, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Pam, thank you. We will go back to Pam for more post-game comments. Troy Aikman says football parallels life. He sees the Cowboys as a team playing in a city where people become completely numb to success. After hearing the questions and comments about his subpar performances lately, Aikman said, how much would it mean to achieve something if you didn't have to struggle to get there? Troy's night, the topic of our breakdown. Last 4 games, Aikman, 1 touchdown, 7 interceptions. The quick out to the left side to Novacek, 14 yards, the perfect throw over the shoulder. As he looks off his first receiver, Aikman uses the quick drop, Marino-like, to get Irvin. Aikman gets careless, though, does not look off his receiver. The pass to Irvin tipped by Wayne Martin, intercepted by Darian Connor. The next Cowboy possession, Aikman wants to go to Irvin in the flat. And once again, Troy telegraphs the pass. Jimmy Spencer reads it. The interception to the 27. What should have been a touchdown. Watch again. Aikman's eyes never leave never leave Michael Irvin, and Troy gets picked off. The conservative pass Aikman, Robert Ford trying to correct their problems. Aikman back to the basics. Deep drop, quick look off, and hits Kevin Williams for 11 yards. Then it's Aikman to Novacek over the middle. Looks off, Darrell Johnson first. Aikman effective throwing to the left side in the middle of the field. When Aikman couldn't find anyone initially, he rolls out, rolls left, and then bloops it to Irvin over the defense. Aikman effective, looking off the first receiver and then throwing short to the left or the middle. He got in trouble when he threw right, but he wasn't looking off receivers all night long, and that is not the Troy Aikman we know. He threw at least one touchdown pass in the first 9 games he played. He's thrown only 1 in his last 4, and as I mentioned, 7 interceptions in those last 4 games. Threw 3 picks against the Niners, 2 more last week against the Browns, and 2 more tonight. But it is a win for the Dallas Cowboys. Gary?
Fortunately for Troy, his defensive backs were doing more of that picking against Jim Everett. Our Pam Oliver will intercept the defensive star of the game when we come back.
Today on The Joy of Cooking, how to smoke a puck. Take 12 guys, tough, dress them heavily, put them on ice. Take 1 puck, drop it, add sticks, add skates, mix on high speed. 2 parts drop pass, 3 parts fake shot. Equal parts velocity, speed, and adrenaline. Stuff some pee, ouch. Add 210 pounds of hip check, then top it off with a blistering slapper. Voila, smoked puck. Dig in, NHL 95. EA Sports. It's in the game.
It takes 10 times longer to make than some California champagnes. Maybe that's why some folks like it 10 times better. Cordon Negro Brut by Fresh Annette. There's a party in every bottle.
From the city by the bay to the city of light, every day we connect over 200 places with over 5,000 flights. And though we continue to grow with new aircraft and new destinations, though we fly over 160,000 people a day, we remain committed to serving each and every one at a time.
Now, an oil made just for your hard-working engine. 4x4 from Quaker State. Off-roading, extreme temperatures, towing and hauling. They all make your light truck or 4x4 work extra hard and could shorten its life. Why settle for a conventional car oil? Get 4x4 from Quaker State, the intelligent oil for hard-working engines. Now, get up to a $1.89 mail-in rebate on a 6-pack case of 4x4. So you buy 5 quarts and get 1 free.
Welcome back to Sports Center. The Cowboys had the 2nd best offense in the NFL. They didn't look like it against the Saints, but they had the best pass defense in the conference, and that's what paid off this evening. Darren Smith, in his 2nd year in the NFL, led the team with 2 fumble recoveries, but had never had an interception. That changed at just the right time. Our Pam Oliver picked him off after the game.
Okay, thanks a lot. Welcome back to Sports Center, where the Cowboys win at 24-16. Did it with a lot of defensive touchdowns. Darren Smith joins me. You had one, a pick on Jim Everett, returned for a touchdown. Take us through that play, would you?
Well, first of all, I just got to give God the glory for the opportunity of being out here. And, you know, during the play, actually, it was just a lucky thing. They tried to run a screen play, and it bounced out of the receiver's hand right into mine. And luckily, we were pretty close to the end zone. So it just was a little short trot to the end zone, and it worked out real good.
Defense really did a good job basically getting some points on the board for this team. You guys feeling pretty good going into the playoffs?
Well, you know, each week in the back of our minds on defense, we feel that we have to win each game. You know, if it's going to take that, we feel we have to do that. And it came down to that tonight. We had 2 touchdowns on defense tonight. And, you know, as long as we're doing that, doing our job, we're going to win. You know, we just want to give the offense the opportunity. But if they don't put it in, we have to do it.
A lot of people have been wondering, is the intensity there? Is this defense still the same? You guys ferocious enough? What would you say to that?
Well, I think we showed a lot of critics tonight that we are back, and we never really went nowhere. It was just a matter of us just coming together, playing as a unit, and we're just going to keep rolling on, trying to get that momentum going into next week when we go up to New York and then going on to the playoffs.
Okay, thanks a lot. Appreciate your time.
Thank
Good
you,
luck
Pam.
next week.
Thank you.
All right, let's go back to Sports Center.
Thank you, Pam. If you were preoccupied by the Monday night game, there were 3 NBA games this evening. Our video recap begins in Chicago, where the Bulls tried to pull the rug out from underneath Cleveland's 5-game winning streak. Mike Fratello's Cavs, the league's best defensive squad, and they certainly lived up to that billing.